Yo. What's up, dudes? Microsoft CEO Phil Spencer has indicated that Xbox games are set to support Nintendo's upcoming Switch 2 console. What does that even mean? Yay, the Switch 2 will play 9-year-old games. They will be making Skyrim for the 50th time. Cowabunga! Can't wait to play Grand Theft Auto 5 again. Hitsubasa, welcome back for 25 months. My tummy hurts. I'm mad at the government. Hey, I feel ya. I think that's a valid reason to be angry at them. Thumbs down. Dang. I was hoping for a thumbs up, honestly. Can't win them all. You got your nephew a PS5. Hell yeah, dude. Best uncle in the world. Oh, thumbs up. Thank you, Josh. Whew. What a reverse. Guys, what is up? What are you guys doing? You guys ready for this? Are you excited for Reddit stories? For the 9 trillionth time in a row. These ones...
Miss Piggy, these ones are gonna be exquisite. Oh, Kermie, you stupid bastard.
Mike and Ike, thank you for the Tuesday. What's up, Joe? How's your night going? It's good. I did cardio today for the first time in many moons. I got my hair did. It was quite the productive day. It's also interesting to note that, like, sometimes no matter who you are, chaos will find you. The Muppets give me straight up nightmares. They should make like a horror-based Muppet game where they come at life at night. This was the night that the Muppets came alive. I became a big sister today after years of being the baby in the family. Oh, geez. How much... That's big sister. How much older are you than the baby? Yo, Mr. White, you ready to hear Joel? Jesse, put him on. We gotta cook. We like to put on Let's Read in the background while we cook meth. That would be really funny. I hope that's a scenario somewhere. Like a drug house filled with like cartel members is listening to like Let's Read right now as their like house gets raided and they get deported. What's your recipe? It'd be kind of funny if like Walt was just adding blue color dye to make it like blue like that, or what was it blue or pink? And do it stink. What's Scar Reddit stories? Oh, did I mess up the title? Can we go back in and change it? Is that possible? Oh, wait, I can't. I see an edit button. Scary. Thank you for letting me know. Save. Boom. It just like ends the stream. Fuck. Iris, what's good? Long time no see. Who's that cutie in your story? That's my friend's new puppy. He is a little Saint Bernard. His name is Herbie. Herbert the pervert. And he's honestly like so cute, bro. Hey, Derek. I can always recognize a Sigma in the chat. 23 years later, and now you're having a baby sister. That's crazy. Well, kudos to your parents for still being fertile. Mucho respect for that, man. David, thank you for the 2. Possible to see more fake scary stories coming out ChatGPT or DeepSeek in the future. Yeah, I mean, I guess that if people use it, but we've done it on the stream, and honestly, at least ChatGPT right now is not very good at like replicating any stories that aren't just like stupid, you know, he came down the chimney cliches. Liz is pooping. She's poop maxing. Let's go. She's so toilet coated. It's giving shit. Holly May, welcome to the Butter Sock Cult. You know, I have access to bonus content. The poop knife was so skibbity. Also, it's only been a few months, and I've already, a couple months, maybe not even a month at the most, and I've already quit Marvel Rivals. I've had enough. I could feel it. I could feel it slowly boiling up in my body that it was basically just like worse Overwatch, and that's where I'm at with that until I reinstall it, which will be never. Oil me up and felch me. What's felching? Can you ask me something? Certainly. Ask anything you want. Only good game at the moment. Okay, this is the way I see it. And you don't have to agree with me. In fact, I want to hear opposing opinions. If anybody does play Marvel Rivals. But is healing just like too strong? Is healing just too strong? The one thing that was nice about Overwatch was like no matter what position you played, you could carry if you could hit your shots. And now I don't know. It's just like I feel like I'm just like cosmetic when I play tank. Not really. I don't know. This is my opinion. I think healing is too strong. It like it turns people's health who are like almost dead down to or up to 100% health instantaneously. And the only way to kill people was with burst damage. And the vanguards have very little, which is like the tanks, right? They have very little burst damage. And it's just so frustrating. There's no like attrition when it comes to like healing resources. Google felching. I'll just assume it's something to do with taxidermy. Is it like a mix between a fart and a belch? You were listening to MJV animations. I know you've done narrations for them before, but I don't see you getting credit. Is it okay to do that? I don't see why you shouldn't get credit. Uh-oh. We found an evil one. But I don't want to be misled here, because MJV animations. Do you know which video it was? 17 true disturbing horror stories.
Fraction change of side.
Counter stop.
Years. We thought if we
Followed by cows. So we moved on.
Let's see. They use Coag music, more animated stories, Twitter, socials. I wonder who the narrators are. Maybe it's themselves. I don't know. But how you guys doing? What's new with you? Anything exciting to report? MJV is Evil Larry. It's him. Featuring James. Joel, the BGM do sound like the Powerpuff Girls music. Oh, the background music. Yeah, I guess that would mean that maybe the Powerpuff Girls used liquid drum and bass, or just drum and bass in general. Dun, 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 dun. Today's your birthday. Happy birthday, Amy. How goes it? Zip zilch. Honestly, is that a good thing, do you think, in the grand concept of like humans? Like there's kids in Pakistan being kidnapped at birth, and then their heads are being squished with rope, and then they're being put out into the streets to beg for money, and then exploited for that money, because within that culture, in certain sects, it's considered the deformed are considered a connection to the divine, so they're tugging more at the human heartstrings, but it's like you're kidnapping kids and you're deforming them just to like make money off it. So, that being said, does being bored in America sound chill? Probably. Your birthday was yesterday. Happy late birthday, Amber. Did you do anything fun? You're working, Amy? Damn. Well, hopefully everybody's nice to you at work, or you get to do something. 4 gas station horror stories animated videos 2 weeks old, and I hear your voice at 107. Huh. First, we gotta check where the channel's from. Canada. What the flip? Okay. 2 weeks old. What'd you say, gas station? Did I miss it? Why did I not see it? Do you know which... Let me just type it into their channel. That's weird. I typed gas station. Oh, it's glitched. What's glitched? Me? My supervisor did a pizza party for you. Oh, that's sick. It's always nice when they make work fun. I feel bad for people like my one buddy. He had his birthday, and it was like his family's had so many health issues that he like just doesn't even get to have a nice birthday. I guess when you're a grown-ass adult man, birthdays just are kind of pointless. Went to Crumble Cookies and went out to dinner with the girls. Nice, that's awesome. It's honestly the best way to spend it was with the friends. Oh, it's Martin Animations. Okay. See, I'm glad we... Animations. Man, dude. How many fucking, like, dog shit animation channels are there? 4 gas station horror stories. Fit. Oh, wait. Oh, he credited Unit 522 in that.
I used to work my mom used to work the night.
Just gonna write credit me, homie. Shit's annoying though. Wonder how hard, honestly I'm genuinely curious how hard it is to make these like really generic animations.
Thanks, Mom.
They look like they're all from the like same shitty program. Martin is officially Evil Larry. He must be stopped. Specifically here for the yapping. Thank you, Lauren. I'll be yapping all night. I wish I could yap about something interesting. I feel like I genuinely can't ever think of anything cool to say sometimes. They actually credit you when you ask them to? I mean, I left a comment. I think he mistakenly like just copied and pasted Unit 522's as the credit for the narration. Maybe who knows? Maybe he has no idea who I am actually, and he just mixes this up because he doesn't actually listen to the content and just milks our channels for animation views, which, you know, makes sense. Logistically speaking. What do I think about the government job freeze? I don't know. I don't know any specifics, and I'm not familiar, honestly. I can't even... All I can do is type it in the chat GDP and read what they say. What is the government job freeze? Because my one buddy was saying he's like a little pissed right now. He's like, I think I might legitimately be out of work here soon, because he works as like a contractor within the military. Government job freeze is a policy implement... Wait. Was there one announced recently? Can't stay for the whole stream. I gotta go. Bye, Joel. See ya, Iris. Take care. Your voice is very known, though. I've seen you collab with someone yet. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That almost like indicates like how disconnected some of the animation channels are. Trump issued an executive order implementing a federal hiring freeze across the executive branch. This directive halts the filling of vacant federal civilian positions and prohibits the creation of new roles, with exceptions for positions related to national security and public safety. Oh, so maybe that won't affect, like, government contracts. The hiring freeze is part of a broader initiative to reduce the size of the federal workforce and increase government efficiency. In addition to the hiring freeze, President Trump has mandated that federal employees return to in-person work, ending remote work arrangements that have been in place since the COVID. See, I don't really know why that would be a priority whenever people probably do just as good a job for, like, administrative tasks at, like, home and all that kind of shit. They might even, like, you know, feel better the fact that they can, like, get sleep and not have to commute a long distance or whatever. But I'm kind of confused, like, what specifically they're talking about for federal hiring. Is that, like, everything? That just seems like such a broad scope. Where on Reddit does one find these stories? There's a couple of places. Let's Not Meet, Creepy Encounters, various others. My own subreddit. We need food to become more affordable. He said he would get right on it, but no sign of any help there. I think the idea there, at least what I've heard, is like implementing ways to decrease the cost of, like, energy through either the drilling prospects. Basically, the concept is that every step of the line of delivering products from wherever it's harvested or created, you know, it uses diesel fuel for, like, transport, so that always goes into the cost. So if that, you can kind of see a correlation there between the cost of diesel fuel when you pass by a gas station and, like, how much things are usually going to cost at the grocery store. That's not to say that that's the only economic, like, you know, gasket that you could shift, I guess, as far as pressure goes. But it might take a little while, and we'll see what happens, I suppose. They want federal workers back in office or take a 7-month paid severance. I'm just curious, like, which federal workers? Oh, I guess it's read time, huh? See, as soon as we start yapping, time flies by. Alright, friends. Thanks for being here, though. Click that like button. Click share. We're already drilling like crazy. From what I understand, we don't have enough refineries to keep up with more drilling. Okay. That's curious. Yeah, I just remember hearing in the previous administration there was a lot of limitations on, like, what do you want to call it, like drilling contracts or something like that, like limiting the amount of overall harvesting. But, you know, once again, I can't say I have any idea on how that all pans out. But if there's less bureaucratic red tape getting in the way of producing said energy, maybe there will be an effect down the road on products that use the energy to get to you. Today's your father's cousin's sister's B-Day's dog's birthday. Happy birthday, dog. Alright. Oh wait, shit. I don't think I cleared my microphone. Oh wait, no data. No data. The datum. I remember watching a friend at their, like, dissertation for their PhD. They let people come and watch, and it was nice, you know. But it was really funny because they kept having to refer to, like, data. Like, my whole life, like, grammatically, I'd always said, like, so the data shows the data, you know, which... But then whenever I talk about, like, the singular, it's like it was referred to it like that datum or something. I don't know. It was just... The grammar was confusing to me. Not Chiefs versus Eagles. I mean, I hope that the Eagles win, but I mean, the fact that the Chiefs are in it, you know for a fact they're going to be, like, either the Eagles need to play their absolute heart out nonstop, essentially fighting against the refs as well, and the Chiefs need to just, like, drop every pass where it's, like, undeniable. Otherwise, it's just going to be a three-peat for the stupid Chiefs, and I'm just so fucking sick of seeing Taylor Swift's dumb face. And I really have nothing against, like, Patrick Mahomes and the gang, but because they obviously are good, but I just hate how, like, it's so blatantly obvious that there is some degree of favoritism there. I'm not a Swiftie. Many such cases, many such cases. Who's my favorite team? I can't say. I don't want anyone to hate me. I, a 22-year-old female at the time of writing this. Writing did, God did. I, a 22-year-old female at the time of writing this, was almost killed by my ex-boyfriend. I'm 30 now. Oh, male, about 30. Okay, I was like, I thought you just said you were 22. I was almost killed by my ex-boyfriend, and I'll be changing. Dude, fuck. I just fucking hate like Reddit syntax. Like I fucking hate like F22, M30. Why does it just? Why is that how they write on there? It's so weird. Favorite genre of music? Probably something electronic with high energy. But I like hip hop a lot too. But I also like rock. I like everything. What's this say? I can't read Spanish, brother. Me sorry. Me gusta los cientos. I gotta translate. Chat. Translate. Hopefully it's nothing mean. What do you think about the cancer wasting public funds? After all, they're going to die anyways. Euthanasia is cheaper, just a shot and done. What are you talking about, though? Thoughts on Hollywood Undead? Is that a band? I'm not familiar. Favorite Pokemon? Dragonite for show. Yeah, I've heard of Mac Miller. I'm not really a big Mac Miller fan. There are certain, rappers. I'm not even sure how you want to describe them, but it's almost like this weird... I'm not a big fan of Eminem. I hate the energy of certain rappers that always feel like they gotta prove everything, gotta show you, I can go real fast. I'm gonna say, have you seen what I said? I've said what I make you feel good. Haha, it feels fucking corny. It feels fucking lame. And I'm not trying to put it down. Like, I get it, people enjoy it and stuff, but there's something about hip hop that I feel like there's a natural energy to it that makes sense. And whenever rappers almost have to add in all these additional vocabulary words to let you know that they're intelligent and smell them. I don't know. It's just bro, just fucking make a good beat and have me jump and jive to it. It's something that you don't need to force. It's just cringe. Just absolutely spitting bars, hawk-tooing bars. Denzel Curry. Hello, Brazil. Okay. I was almost killed by my ex-boyfriend. I'll be changing the names as to protect myself, but I'll start with a quick backstory. At the time of the attack, I was 19, almost 20. My ex, Gavin, was 27, and we had a big chow-chow and a cat, the dog being his and the cat mine. Oh my fucking god, and the grammar is shitty? I guess I should have expected that for a Reddit story. I'm sorry, guys. How do you not put a period in your fucking... Fix this grammar and syntax. Jesus Christ. Yeah, hopefully everything in the story rhymes. Otherwise, I won't be able to read it. I won't be able to see it. I won't be able to smeed it. Oh my god. ChatGPT is so fucking annoying sometimes. You'll ask it the same command of shit, and it will still go out of its way to change shit. Bro, please. I smeed the need. I was almost killed by my ex-boyfriend, and I'll be changing names to protect myself. At the time of the attack, I was 19, almost 20. My ex, Gavin, was 27. We had a large chow chow and a cat, his dog, my cat, and we lived in a 3-bedroom house. And the layout was as follows. When you walked in, the living room was to the right, the dining room was in front, and the kitchen was off to the left, an open-concept living and dining room with a closed kitchen. A long hallway led to the bathroom on the right, with the main bedroom at the end of the hall on the right, and 2 other bedrooms were on the remaining walls. A few months before this attack, we had allowed a friend, Lacey, to stay with us, but it didn't end well. She took advantage of us, and we eventually had to ask her to leave. Now, the week before the attack, Gavin had just returned home from a work trip that lasted about 3 to 4 weeks. When he came back, something was off. He couldn't complete a thought. All right. Dude, fuck ChatGPT. It's like, it's so cringe. Like, it's literally like summarizing the entirety of the story. Holy fuck. It's also so hot down here. I had the heat on. I'm sorry. I'm fucking out of it. Holy shit. There's a new Chinese ChatGPT that seems to be better, apparently. Yeah, I haven't even tried it. I'm just so fucking annoyed with AI. I hope it just dies and goes away. I'd much rather just read this person's bad grammar, even though it is really nice to use. Fuck, man. Alright, we're gonna try it again. Please fix this grammar, but don't change any of the story, you stupid robot. Even though it's like doing this instantaneously. I'm still mad. Take off all your hair. All that cardio today got your body temp all the way up. I'm burning up, bro. My metabolism's off the chizarts. I also bought some raw milk today. It's pretty good. Before GTA 6. What meme are you guys gonna say once GTA 6 comes out? You won't be able to like fall back on that one. I was almost killed by my ex-boyfriend, and I'll be changing the names to protect myself. Now I'll start with a quick backstory. At the time of the attack, I was 19, almost 20. My ex, Gavin, was 27, and we had a big chow chow and a cat. The dog was his and the cat was mine. We lived in a 3-bedroom house, and the layout... Alright. I hate layouts of stories. I hate the fact that people like think that you give a shit about any of their life, that they have to tell you every aspect of the blueprints of their fucking apartment. Like, for Christ's sake. We lived in a 3-bedroom house. A few months before, we had allowed a friend to stay with us, Lacey, and it didn't end well, as she was just sort of taking advantage of us. The week leading up to the attack, Gavin had just gotten back from his work trip, which I believe was about 3 to 4 weeks away from home. And the week that he was back, he was completely out of it, unable to complete a thought. I'd ask or tell him something, and less than 5 minutes later, he'd completely forget or just not have heard me. Just off in some other world almost. And one day, I was very frustrated with all of this, and I'd ask for help with chores or for him to take the garbage out, only to be ignored. And one day, he said that if it continued, he wanted to slap... Alright, double check. Bedroom to the walls, leading with a slap. Okay, sweet. We are on track with the original story. Mr. Ballin would have described every flower and every vase of the house. That's not good. Oh my gosh. You just took a sauna shower, cannot cool down. It's so funny, like after you get done with like lifting, it'll be like freeze, or like working out, it'll be like freezing outside, and you're like, I feel great. And you get in your car and I'm like, oh man, I'm burning up. But then like within seconds or whatever, you just like right back to like the disgusting feeling of winter. And sometimes I wish my body could just be like hot all the time when you want it to be hot. Careful with the raw milk, it can be delicious, but know where you're sourcing it, like the actual farmer if you can. If the farm... I thought you could just go up to like a cow and just start suckling. Like, what's the point of them making milk if you can't just take it when you want it? One day, he said that if it continued, he wanted me to slap him. Now, we had gone out for dinner with his mom 2 days prior to this attack, and she was obviously very worried about him, as there was clearly something wrong. And at the time, the only mental disorder that he had or was aware of was OCD, though I am now even more convinced that it's not what he had by any means. And the day of the attack, we had just gotten back from grabbing some takeout and were sitting on the couch in the living room. I had been painting my nails while he was playing Mario Kart, and he looked over at me and said, "Lacey put a curse on my family." I was dealing with my own really poor mental health at the time, so I wasn't really in a space where I could be focusing on his. I have BPD, and I wasn't sure what to do. So I suggested that he hop in a cold shower, as it had helped him earlier in the week to reset a bit. He walked into the bathroom, muttering to himself, and it just felt so off. Now, I don't know how to describe it. I just didn't feel safe. And I walked over and asked if I could call his mom for a bit, maybe invite her over for supper, kind of beating around the bush that I wanted her to come help him. He looked at me and just started yelling that he needed... You drank raw milk, but I milked it myself after I cleaned the others. You can just milk yourself and drink it if you want. You want to try goat's milk? Yeah, goat's milk's okay. I'm trying to remember. I've had it, but it was like chocolate goat's milk, so it just really just tasted like chocolate milk, maybe a little bit thicker. Did you see about the plane crashing into a helicopter in D.C., supposedly now a mass casualty event? No way, really. Plane crashes into helicopter. Holy fuck. Plane crashes into Potomac River after collision with helicopter near Reagan National Airport. That's fucking crazy. Initial report indicated American Airlines regional jet and helicopter have collided, according to source. One or both of the aircraft may be in the Potomac River, according to source Ronald Reagan. Was it a private liner, or was it like a full-on? That'd be so insane if it was like a commercial airliner. And honestly, it would be even more confusing. Because like with a private liner, a regional jet collided in midair with a helicopter while approaching the Reagan Washington National Airport around 9 p.m. Wow. American Airlines with 60 people on board. Holy fuck, dude. God damn. That's so rare, right? I mean, just like being on a plane. Good God. Isn't air traffic control supposed to prevent stuff like this? I have no... You would assume so. Yeah, it looks like it only happened like 9 p.m. tonight, like an hour ago. Jesus, dude. There have been a lot of incidents with planes. It's fucking scary, dude. And it's so weird, like, I mean, it's kind of a silly thing to immediately start talking about, but with the drones, people talking about that it's, anti-gravity technology, where it, like, doesn't require a lot of power and it can, like, house a pretty strong, large payload. And I was like, I don't know, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, damn, we've got, like, future technology here. I wonder why we just don't transition over to, like, and who knows, I'm sure there's all sorts of reasons to like keep our typical flight infrastructure going and not transition to anything like too crazy, but I don't know. Makes you wonder how long it'll be before we get to that point. Probably never, I guess. Probably make flying illegal before they ever allow that. He looked at me and just started yelling that all he needed was me. I walked out and started toward the living room as I was calling his mom. He came out of the bathroom naked and started yelling at Ollie, the dog, to discipline me and attack me. Mind you, he was trained as my guard dog. And at this point, I believe his mom had answered the phone and heard what was happening. He started calling me Lacey and saying that I needed to pay for what I did. I immediately ran into the bedroom with my phone, and his mom was still on the line. He kicks down the door, smashed my head into... Your friend was a pilot? In that crash? In that crash specifically? He kicked down the door, smashed my head into our mirrored closet doors, and threw my phone to the ground. He was screaming that he was going to kill me. I scrambled out of the bedroom, trying to get to the front door, and as I was passing the kitchen, he got a hold of me and wrapped his arms around my throat, again saying that he was going to kill me. I remember looking over to the table and seeing my cat, Sterling, all puffed up, and I had never seen him so scared. I was fighting to not go unconscious, and I couldn't breathe. I clawed at him, just trying to get his arms off my throat. I remember starting to see black specks in my vision and thinking, am I going to die? What is he going to do with my body? Then he asked me if I... Then he started asking me if I knew what it was like to have unspeakable things done to me. And this is the part where I'm not sure if he was actually out of his mind. I have been assaulted inappropriately before, and it had been a year that month, I guess, and I was very open about how that had been affecting me and open about telling him. He threw me to the ground and put his foot over my head as if to stomp on it. And this was the only time that I had seen his eyes throughout this attack, and they were almost lifeless. His pupils were so dilated you could barely see the iris, and he was yelling over and over again, "Admit it, Lacey. You know what you did. Admit it." He started apologizing, doing and saying anything I started apologizing. They said the drones were for researching. Yeah, but that's such a stupid... it's not like an answer. Like, they sat there and said that the FAA or whatever approved them, which, okay, cool. We have learned that it was our own government doing it, but, like, what the fuck were they researching, you know? That just still seems like a cop-out as far as, like, trying to understand what the heck it is. And is the technology of the drones literally futuristic technology that we're unaware of? I don't know. Just seems really weird. Maybe they were researching how people would react to having non-stop drone surveillance near them all the time, seeing how low they could get before, you know, we shot them down or some shit. But I guess also the fact that they didn't they use that as an opportunity? Wait, didn't they use that as an opportunity to illegalize like drone activity from civilians as well? Did they not do that? So if they were like aware that it was our own government and then still went ahead and like put through legislation against it, I don't know. I just started apologizing, doing and saying anything I could to make him happy. And this seemed to work as I got the opportunity to scramble to my feet and race out the door, and I just wished that I'd left the screen door open. I ran from house to house in nothing but shorts and a sweater in February in one of the coldest provinces in Canada. I had gotten to maybe 2 to 3 houses before I heard Ollie screaming, and it's a sound I can never get out of my head. I just dropped to the ground, screaming and crying, "Gavin, leave him alone," as I knew in that moment that he killed my dog. At this point, a bunch of the neighbors had heard me and came running to help. An older couple called the police and brought me into their home, not knowing if they were putting their own lives at risk. My parents were living in a completely different province. Someone gave me their phone to call my mom, and she was out for supper with some friends, and I just told her Gavin killed the dog and tried to kill me. The police finally showed up after what seemed like hours, 5 or 6 cars, firearms out and ready. They used a megaphone to tell him to come out with his hands up, and he walked out naked, covered in blood. Once they had gotten him into the car, a police officer came to talk to me while the others searched the house, and shortly after, an officer came up and asked how many dogs we had, and I told him 1 and a cat. I asked if Ollie was still alive, and they told me that he was dead in the bathtub. Gavin had killed him in the living room and then brought him into the bathroom, filled up the tub, and put Ollie's body in it. I asked about the cat, and they said they couldn't find him yet, and I was sure that he had killed my sweet boy too. Sterling was the only thing I could think about, and I went into a panic and was no longer able to give them any more information. I was in tunnel vision repeating, "Where's my cat? I want my cat. Find my cat." The officers asked if there were any treats that they could use to coax him out and where his hiding spots usually were, and they ended up finding Sterling alive, but he was so scared and attacking the officers. They had blocked off the worst of the scene, so they had me to go in and get him. That's so sad. I pretend I'm brand new to the East Coast in this kinds of weather. It's been so long, I think it's justified. What's up, guys? I'm brand new here. I'm new to this school. Who's the toughest? Who's the toughest bully? I want to give him a wedgie. It's weird though with like the plane stuff. Like it just makes me wonder. I'm like, is plane equipment, is plane production, is just overall plane, staff, especially like people who should be monitoring if there's a helicopter. Like it just seems like things are progressively getting worse. I'm just glad I don't see those damn things over my house anymore. That's all I care about. I mean, that's gotta be weird. Just seeing that shit, like not knowing what they are, wondering like at any moment what they might do. Just strange. I've heard about some like interesting like futuristic technologies. Both in like frequency waves and how frequency waves can interact with your brain to make you think that you're like hearing stuff. If you ever heard of like Havana syndrome and that kind of thing, as well as just being able to do like MRI scans of like people's brains from a distance, so they can kind of like map out your brain and your brain activity to essentially use AI to correlate what your MRI looks like on the brain and then determine what kind of mood you're in, if you're like a threat to yourself or people around you, or you know what I mean. It's actually fucking insane sometimes to think like what we know as the public versus what reality is as far as technology has come, because you always hear about like weird stuff during the Soviet era of things, MK Ultra, things of that nature, but beyond that, like there's not a lot of information that's really released to the public overall. Lynn, thank you for the 150. Can I throw it in a circle? Like a hula hoop? You got to see Venus tonight? Nice, dude. How close is it to Uranus? You going to Mexico for spring break? Looks like it won't be the cartel killing me. Yeah, they're flying the planes now. They had blocked off the worst of the scene, so they had me go in to get him. There was still so much blood, and the smell of blood and feces was overpowering. Sterling was in the bedroom on the bed, just crying. I scooped him up and asked the officers to find my vape, and as I was walking out of the house, Gavin's mom had just gotten out of her car. She asked me where Ollie was, and all I could say was, "Gavin killed him." And she just dropped to the ground and started bawling. 2 weeks later, Sterling and I were on a plane to my mom's. The court case took over 2 years, and I later found out Gavin had loaded our guns, and I never wanted to know how he killed Ollie, but when going through the evidence, an officer mentioned a baseball bat, not knowing that I didn't want to know. He only got 10 months of house arrest for all of this. And to this day, 2 years later, he still tries to contact me, blaming me for not getting him help earlier. And I think the worst part is I do partly blame myself. Oh, yikes. And I think the worst part is that I do partly blame myself. Sharon L., thank you for the 2. Do I think JFK, RFK, and MLK files will be released? I think they will, but honestly, it's just like weird to me. I'm like, if like there's not a chance in motherfucking hell that the CIA or whoever the fuck would ever like let you know the real reason why JFK was killed, you know? Like, sure, maybe they throw, like, I don't think there's ever a chance that they would throw Lyndon B. Johnson under the bus. I don't think that they would ever throw, like, banksters under the bus saying that, like, JFK wanted to start a new currency or something that was, you know, opposed to the Federal Reserve. You know what I mean? I don't think any of, like really hardcore truths that would shift narratives nationwide would ever come out, you know? So, yeah, they Lyndon B. jerking it. Do I have any drinks tonight? No, just tea and wah-wah. I don't know. I just sometimes wonder to like what extent how misleading our reality is, you know? Like presumably if there's just like a unimpeded, unchecked, completely unlimited resource intelligence agency in conjunction with like a banking cartel, like working together for what, close to a century almost at this point, like what could potentially be done? Like maybe every aspect of like what we perceive as like reality or war could all just be like these like sort of fixed and predetermined destinations, you know what I mean? I don't know. I have no fucking clue. I'm just kind of speculating, but I can't imagine. Who knows? Maybe the human aspect of it just means that they're just as fallible as any of us. But you would presume that there would be some degree of just like efficiency to all of it to like maintain endless resources and dominance. They found out Havana syndrome was false, and those people were just stressed. It sounds like a easy way to dismiss many things. Also an excuse to jettison warming relations with Cuba. Release the JFK files with everything redacted. Yeah. I don't know. And I don't understand, like, you release files. Like, what's to stop, like, an agency, like a 3-letter agency from ever just lying? Like, how hard is it just to lie? Oh, they want the files? Okay, just we've been ready for this for years. Just make some shit up. You know what I mean? Like how I feel like that would be that you redact a few things and then you send the conspiracy theorists who have their fucking like AM radio talk shows digging through it, like all the QAnon nonsense or whatever, just fucking combing through every little detail, every morsel of information to feel like they're onto something. But I'm like, so you're telling me the people that you're trying to like uncover the truth of what they did is also simultaneously feeding you your information? You know what I mean? It's like, do you not see the cognitive dissonance here? JFK is a dream y'all had. Yeah, he never existed. Just like the book 1984. I thought about that. Like, what's to stop intelligence agencies like this from just having an entire like wing of the Pentagon just like devoted to narratives? All right, what's some like bullshit narrative that's going on right now? How can we change it ever so slightly to favor the party or favor a certain perspective or omit things? You know what I mean? I imagine everything like just gets systematically disseminated out to every like parroting, you know, pile of news crap that you could imagine. And I think one of the weirdest things for us a lot of the times, even though I do think that it makes sense why people would ask it, but say you were like an individual that had information external from a news source, and you were like, I believe this is happening. What's the first thing like your family and friends are going to ask? And they're like, do you have evidence for this? Which makes sense. Makes it a normal question to ask, but it's weird that our standards for what we perceive to be evidence is essentially like state-ran and accepted outlets. If you don't have a link to an article, then I don't even want to even discuss this at all. You know, it's just, it really like limits any sort of like discourse outside of what is usually permitted. The government had a program to kill Americans and blame it on Cuba. Yeah, how did that work? Conspiracy theorists should watch the animated show Inside Job. It would probably blow their minds, man. I don't know. Even the weirdest part about like digging into like information that's contrarian or opposite or even perceived as like the truth, it doesn't really lead anywhere. Like tell me one person in here, including myself, that's ever been like critical of like a government narrative and it's ever like manifested into anything other than just sort of like distrust of these like senses of authority, which maybe that's the end goal and that's actually a good thing for people to be actually discerning, so that whenever there is some sort of expectation of action to coincide with whatever overarching narrative and psyop is being thrown at you, maybe that's the good thing, to just like be more wary and to like not go along with it. Yeah, see, I mean, that's the thing. They said the drones were authorized by the government, but that doesn't tell you anything. Like, we all knew that it was probably our own government. Maybe it was Chinese, maybe, you know what I mean? But, like, what's the specifics? What were the drones made out of? What technology did they, you know, it's like you have all these questions, but people sit there and act like, oh, Trump's going to get to the bottom of this, and it's like, it doesn't sound like it. Yeah, you're right. The 22 intel agencies wrong about the WMDs in Iraq. I mean, I don't know. And that's the question too, is like, who knows? Maybe there's so many like variables going into it, so many like competing agencies that some have a desire for a certain outcome, so they mislead the media or mislead other agencies into thinking that they need to like take military action somewhere. But in reality, it was never that narrative at all. And there's so many like different voices bouncing around everywhere that no one really knows like the true objective eventually. Would they ever elect any person younger than 40? Well, what is the age? Age to be president, isn't it? 35 years old, having resident of the United States for 14 years, natural-born citizen. Okay. The White House press secretary is 27. Yeah. When we were kids, we weren't troubled by these thoughts. Now we have so many. That's true too. You do wonder to what extent, like, because sometimes I think about like the frequency that my brain gives off and the energy and mood that I feel whenever I sit here and concern myself with shit that I'm never gonna like have any effect in changing. But then as soon as I put on like a YouTube video that talks about like, you know, bettering yourself, or like how to be a writer, or like how to, how to find your internal creative being, or, you know, whatever it might be, where it feels a lot more like productive and like happy, I guess, and creative. Suddenly I'm like, I can feel the mood like shift in my brain, where I'm like no longer in just like an ever-present drip feed of stress, you know. It feels like I'm operating on like a positive frequency. Remember during the anthrax attacks, Senator McCain alluded it was Iraq. Found it came from Fort Detrick. Yeah. That's the thing. You just wonder, you wonder about history too, how much of that is legitimate, because it's just like everything we fucking hear in the media almost like non-stop has either some type of spin or is just like wildly, wildly misleading. I mean, and the fact that you can like see it happening and the information changing like in real time, going all, a few years ago back to like COVID, you just like wonder, you're like, what even fucking is true anymore, Hootie, welcome back for 37 months. As I had a rough last week, so glad to hear your voice for distraction. Hey, we're here for you, Hootie. Thank you for 37 months of support. Appreciate you. A military helicopter has collided with a large passenger aircraft over the Potomac River. Both aircraft has crashed into the river. Massive search and rescue. Yeah, we didn't know that it was a military helicopter, but man, yeah, fuck. A military one too. Like, how are they not aware of or like in contact with air traffic control there? It's crazy. It's sad. It's sad to think, like, you just don't realize how fast chaos can come in your life, Just casually coming back from work, ready to land in DC, and oops, look out. How do you say this place? Tempe, Arizona? Tempe? Yeah, it's been so long since I've been... Tempe, thank you. Sorry, it's been forever since I've seen that one. You're food drunk. Oh, probably just need to go for a walk, Trace. Whenever your belly is too full, walking is probably one of the best ways to help digestion begin. This happened to me in Tempe, Arizona, not far from Mill Avenue where all the bars are at. I was out bar hopping with a group of friends one weekend, having a good time, and had gotten pretty wasted. I have this terrible habit of wandering off and getting lost when I drink, and this particular night I had managed to get myself in a very dumb situation. After wandering down streets for almost an hour, I started to realize that I was very lost, and to make things worse, my phone was out of battery. At some point, I decided that I would just walk back to my friend's house, which I knew was somewhere north of an area that we were bar hopping. Now, I should mention that I am severely incompetent when it comes to directions and navigating in a city, so I didn't realize that I was a solid 7 to 8 miles away from my friend's place. As I was stumbling confidently along the empty roads at 2 a.m., a sedan suddenly pulls off the road in front of me, aggressively, almost blocking my path. Somewhat startled, I look towards the driver's side and see a rather large and mean-looking black gentleman staring me down. In situations like this, most people have one of two reactions. They either become scared and defensive, or angry and aggressive. I, on the other hand, am an insane person and was just drunk enough to have no sense of the danger that I might be in. Now, I should mention that I am your typical privileged suburban white boy, not particularly threatening or big. And I proceeded to wave at the guy, saying, "Hey man, what's good?" I'm not completely sure, but I think I was probably smiling too. I specifically remember the face that he made. It was sort of confused and conflicted, as if I were asking him what year it was. He paused for a second and asked me something, but I couldn't understand what he said. And I responded back, "Huh?" And he then asked me, "Where are you going?" I told him I was trying to walk to my friend's place, but I have no idea where I am. After another pause, he told me to get in. Now, without thinking, I walked over to the passenger side and hopped in. Pretty dumb, right? Well, at the time, it seemed like a good idea. And once I got in, I was able to get a better look at the guy. He was covered in tattoos and was wearing your typical thug attire. I also noticed his arm was all bandaged. Oh, and he had a pistol clearly tucked into his shorts. And again, for some reason, none of this fazed me at the time. He asked me. Sleepy Guerrero with the 21 months says, I don't know why, but I really do enjoy the yapping. That alone helps me go to sleep, but if I don't have an unwatched video, I hope everyone has been doing well. Thank you, Sleepy. I will continue to yap just for you. A car flipped over at the corner of my street today, and I'm 2 houses in. We didn't hear a thing. Dude was in a high-speed chase and ran through our neighborhood. That's crazy. You gotta be ready, man. I wonder if Joe ever ordered food and the person recognized his voice. Probably from how often I order food from there, maybe. Yeah. Dude, I saw, this was like, I wish, dude, sometimes my friends send me videos, like on Instagram and shit, where there's a lot of like fucked up shit that happens. And I wish they wouldn't, but I feel like after you see like some like disgusting, crazy shit, you kind of have to talk about it. So this is kind of not safe for work or whatever, but basically, I don't know what the fuck was going on, but it was from the perspective of like someone's security camera in a garage. And I always avoid videos like this because I just like hate death, I hate fighting, I hate, you know what I mean? I just hate looking at it because it fills me with like a type of reaction deep down that just makes me sick. And anyways, there was a guy in his driveway across the street. 2 people were walking through the street, and like it was like a man and his wife, I assume, and like they were yelling at this dude, like just yelling at him over and over and over again. And they kept calling him a pussy. The wife was calling him pussy. This dude walks out, goes in, he's like, oh, call me a pussy or whatever, and he goes into his house or something and like gets a pistol and comes out. And you know, you can see this guy coming from a mile away, and like you think, and like it seems like he's trying to be threatening or whatever as he walks up, but these people just sit there and they keep like talking shit and saying stuff. And then he just starts fucking like unloading his gun. He must have shot like 6 times with this pistol and missed every shot, to the point where you're like, is he just like trying to intimidate them or something? And while they're doing that, they're still like not acknowledging the fact that they're being shot at point blank from this dude. And it's not until like one of the shots actually make contact with the husband that like then he like falls over and starts like screaming and stuff like that, and then shoots the, oh man, the whole fucking video is just like so fucked up because it just shows you like how, I don't even know, just like psychotic people can just like turn into out of nowhere. Like how many times the dude got shot and the wife, and they were still yelling stuff at him as well while they're on the floor like screaming and stuff in the middle of the road. And then fucking he goes into his house, I'm fairly certain he gets like some sort of AR style gun, and then like finishes them off like while saying disgusting stuff. It was just like one of those things where I'm like, why am I watching this? But like you can't look away, and it's just, I don't know. I remember like seeing videos like that when you were like had unmitigated access to the internet as like a kid. You know, you see some fucking ISIS video or just some disgusting shit, and it just makes you sick to your stomach and sticks with you forever at that point. And I don't know, man. Apparently then the guy went inside and like shot himself or whatever, like once the police like knocked on his door. I read somewhere in the comments that the story was that the guy had also like recently lost his wife to cancer or something, so you could imagine like how volatile he was, and he had some like ongoing feud with this crazy couple or whatever. But the whole thing is just so fucking weird, just a psychotic human interaction. Your friends send you these? Dude, I don't, like, he's an asshole. Like, I tell him not to fucking send shit like that. That's like the first one he's sent in a long time, but he's all into fucking, I don't even know. Like, the first thing he says, he's like, that's why I keep that thing on me. Okay. Jesus Christ. Jumping off an industrial boat dock. I watched that in like 7th grade. Yeah, I remember seeing one of the kid, like, probably middle school, like, doing a fucking front flip into a pool from, like, a rooftop, but he smacked his fucking jaw off of the side of the pool, and then it goes to the aftermath video or something of him in the hospital, and, like, his entire jaw is just missing, and it's just dripping blood, and his whole jaw is just not there, and he just casually has to sit there and, like, his entire life is essentially over. I mean, maybe they can reattach it somehow, but it's never going to be the same. It's just so fucked. That was on Tosh.0. Oh my god. I mean, maybe the aftermath was not the same video or something, but it seemed like it. Humans have the psychological urge to be curious about death. Almost everyone gets the urge to not look away when they see it. Well, this is true too, and but the weirdest thing was the fact that as he was unloading his pistol, both the fact that he was missing every shot from really close just shows how I don't know, shitty pistols can be or whatever. But at the same time, the fact that the family, the two, wife and husband, just weren't going anywhere. They were the wife at one point was like, I'm filming you, and it was just what, you just got shot at a dozen times. What are you fucking doing? Sorry. Anyways. Hey guy, what's up, dude? Downside is you gotta sleep soon. Jury duty in the AM. Damn, I'm sorry. Hopefully it goes by quick. That shit sounds like a pain in the ass. I got called to jury duty before, but I thankfully didn't get selected. He asked me where my friend's place was, and I gave him directions. Now, I'm pretty sociable and talkative when I drink, so I immediately started chatting with the guy casually. I don't remember exactly what we talked about, but eventually he started telling me that he had just gotten out of the hospital after being treated for a gunshot wound on his arm, and his girl just broke up with him because of it. Apparently she didn't like that he was in a gang and getting into gunfights. Go figure. He then told me that he was real pissed off about her and about getting shot, and he was driving around looking for someone to rob when he found me, and that he has served time for robbery in the past. At that point, my drunken brain started to connect the dots, and I thought about the roughly $200 that I had in my wallet at that very moment. But instead of freaking out, I just said something like, "Damn, man, that's rough." He also told me that he really wanted to be a rapper, and he was trying to get his music career started. I tried to be supportive, telling him to just go for it. About 10 to 15 minutes later, we pulled up at my friend's place. Now, this is when I should have just gotten out of the car and told the armed man thanks for the ride, but again, I'm an insane person and felt like I owed him one for taking me all the way there, so I asked if he wanted to come in and smoke some, and he said he was down. At this point, my friend had already been back for a while, and we were all wondering what had... Oops. See, guys, that's all you have to do. Just be nice to your robbers, and you'll be good. The helo crash was a Black Hawk. How? Really? That's weird. Yeah, the fact that it was manned by military, what type of oversight is that shit? I've been called over to jury duty many times, but last year selected as an alternate on jury last year for about a month's time. Yeah, it's just all seems like such a pain. There was a video and it was right behind the plane, just flew right into it. How they didn't see them. Yikes. Behind the plane. Crazy. Do you think it was aiming for it or something like that? Have you ever avoided those people that try to give you small Bibles? Small Bibles. Is it Mormon people, or which denomination would it be? I can tell you from personal experience, just because someone has a rank in the military doesn't mean they're 10,000% a professional at their MOS. Just insane that why would you would think there would be, I have no idea, but you think there would be a degree of much stronger monitoring of the runway, especially if there's military activity there or something. I don't know. That just sucks. It costs 60 lives right there. That's just fucked. Christian Baptist, they would sit outside my college and try to run past them. Yeah, the little Bibles are annoying because even if you open it, it's like you gotta get like a magnifying glass out just to fucking read it. At this point, my friends had already been back for a while and were all wondering what had happened to me. As you might expect, they were awfully surprised when I showed up with a strange black guy who now knew I what. At this point, my friends had already been back for a while and were all wondering what had happened to me. And as you might expect, they were awfully surprised when I showed up with a strange black dude who I now knew was a gang member. Dude, god damn it. I don't know why that's like a tongue twister. I now knew, na knew, ni na knew. The people that hand out the small religious moral comic books are too sly. They will stick it on your windshield and strike up a conversation like an old friend just trying to hand you one. Yeah, the evangelism shit, just fucking pain in the ass. Because, I mean, like, just thinking about the person in that position, they just feel like so much pressure from some sort of, like, external concept that's been pounded into their head that they need to give you this thing. It needs to happen. More so than, like, somebody trying to sell you, like, a Dyson vacuum cleaner. At this point, my friends had already been back for a while and were all wondering what had happened to me. And as you might expect, they were awfully surprised when I showed up with a strange black guy who I now knew was a gang member who had debated robbing me at gunpoint. What the dude did next sort of sketched everyone out, though. My buddy lives in a house with a few other people. His room is at the very end of the hallway, and that's where they all were listening to music. He also has a huge safe in his closet that is visible as soon as you walk in the room. I didn't realize it, but my new friend had brought his gun inside with him, and shortly after entering the room after everyone said what's up, he took his gun out of his waistband and put it down right on top of the safe in front of everyone. It seemed like a really odd thing to do, but it was a lot better than what could have. Fuck. For some reason, I just feel like these sentences like blend together. I feel like Facebook is full of grown-ups who post gruesome death videos like that, and the crazy thing is all the 55-year-old grandmas asking for different angles of the death. Yeah, that's really weird. I didn't even know if Facebook allowed that, but I guess if Instagram allows it, it's all like meta and stuff. That's strange, honestly. You would think that like even before like the political censorship and that kind of thing, Instagram was always just like casually allowing those like really heavy dark videos. You think that would be like an instant ban, you know what I mean, for stuff like that. You think just anything with death, anything with whatever, like what about that is like, what's the reasoning behind keeping it up if they're acting like they're trying to keep their platform like happy and whatever. Happy, happy, happy. And then they show you a fucking video of a 4-person family like careening off a highway and exploding. A vacuum cleaner be like push to start vehicle. They are pretty sick. Tom from MySpace wouldn't do this to us. I know, Tom had class. That's for sure. Mark Zuckerberg, he wears a fedora. And he can't convince us that he's not a robot or lizard. It seemed like a really odd thing to do, but it was a lot better than what he could have done. I feel like it was a sort of show of respect, like he wanted to show that he wasn't going to use it. Luckily, I do have super chill friends, so they acted cool and were about to roll up a blunt, so a few minutes later we all went back to smoke, leaving that gun in his room. The dude chilled with us for a while longer and actually seemed to get along with some of my friends who had a similar interest in music. He then picked up his gun off the safe and left without incident. Looking back, I realized that could have gone much, much worse, especially since my buddy had a lot of cash in that safe and could have easily robbed us at gunpoint at any time. And I like to think that although he was a criminal and a gang member, he was also just a guy going through a hard time, and a little kindness and marijuana prevented that night from going very, very bad. For show. He then came back and robbed us later. I yell at the Mormons who come a-knocking through my camera. Yeah, I've always had positive experiences with Mormon, but the level of like how nice Mormons are, at least to the outsiders, is like creepy. You know what I mean? It's like too nice. Like everything is like a middle school side hug nice. You know what I mean? Scrolling through TikTok and got a video of a guy who had a circular saw stuck to his eye so quickly. Hopefully it's a fake video. Yeah. I don't know why anyone feels the need to post any of that shit. I think the weirdest is on Instagram. Sometimes in the comments section you'll see people say like, I just posted shark attack video, or I just posted a cop killing a guy, you know, and it's like in all capitals, and it's always like pinned, like the person that runs the page is trying to promote the page, because then if you go to the page, you have to like request to follow them because they obviously keep a very tight-knit community or something. Like, I don't know, it just like seems strange. Like imagine like waking up every day and the Instagram page that you run is just all like violent, extreme, nutso-butso videos. And in my mind, I'm like, how does anyone like monetize this? Like, how do you make money off of this? I don't know, maybe they sell the videos somewhere else or something, but it just seems like such a headache. This happened over 10 years ago, but I still think about how close I came to dying. I was already with my future husband when I met his cousin, and we had a lot in common. We'd both struggled with addiction and anorexia. We talked on the phone and met up to eat and see a movie, but he kissed me in his car, so I decided it was best if we just stopped talking. I told my future husband about the kiss, and he was understanding. I didn't tell him that his cousin got extremely upset over me turning him down. Some time passed and we started meeting up as friends. Since we were both starving ourselves, we always went to the same place, but after a couple of times I felt like it wasn't healthy for either of us to meet up. He asked me to meet up one last time and I stupidly said yes. We went to our place and during dinner he was talking about his apartment and job, how happy he could make me. I got uncomfortable and asked him to drive me home. It was really late, and instead of driving me home, he drove me to the forest preserve. It was pitch black because all the lights were off, and I immediately felt uneasy. We were alone in the parking lot, and I had a horrible feeling at this point that something was going to happen. He parked and turned off his car and then looked at me and said that we were meant for each other. I didn't want to upset him, so I just said that he knew that I was engaged and that we were just friends. He had a history of violence, so I was terrified at that point. He started getting really upset, and almost crying. He said that he loved me. Then he put his arm around my neck and held his arm down really hard on the right side of my neck. His arm was around my neck, and I've been looking straight ahead when suddenly I woke up to a police officer at his window. He was asking if I was okay, and I was really scared and confused, and I had some vomit on my shirt and I'd wet my pants. He'd pressed down on my carotid artery for long enough that it actually knocked me out, and he was a wrestler back in high school. He was telling the officer that we were fine, and that I was drunk. He got a ticket, but I was too afraid to say anything because if he was arrested, my now husband's family wouldn't have blamed me, but no. Okay, we got a lot of Jerry Springer stories tonight. Did we read this already? This one? No. I don't remember the carotid artery knockout story. Can you imagine that, though? That would be like the absolute worst. Just like casually, I don't know, something happened and then all of a sudden you wake up with no memory a while later. How did I get into doing narrations? I just tried it. It was just like something I thought would be like doable on YouTube. And then I stumbled across the creepypasta community and was like, oh, I can do this. He got a ticket, but I was too afraid to say anything because if he was arrested, my now husband's family wouldn't have blamed me, but that's what I thought in the moment. I said that it was fine, but that's what I wanted, just to go home. I said it was fine, but that I wanted to go home now. I thought if I said it in front of the officer, he would drive me home because he took our names and he wouldn't risk trying something else. So he drove me home and didn't say anything. I don't know if he was trying to kill me or just got so upset that he went way overboard. Regardless, he almost did kill me, and it really messed me up. A person doesn't vomit and wet themselves after a neck compression unless they almost died. And I told my now husband, but not right away because I felt like it was partly my fault for meeting up with him. I only saw him a couple of more times at the holidays and then he stopped coming, but he didn't dare speak to me after what he did. If that officer hadn't shown up, I don't know if I'd be here still. Yeah, it's strange that TikTok, I wonder if like Instagram like followed TikTok's like method, because TikTok was like, sure, we'll let you watch, Chinese factory workers get turned into mush. And then Instagram was like, that's a great idea. If you look at these metrics, gore videos are super popular. I was planning to rob you. Okay, yeah, we're good. What's up, Queef Sweat? Did I ever collab with Phantom Librarian? I don't think I did. His channel, I remember back in the day, like him, Corpse Snusband, Yearmaker, Lazy, B-Busta, like all those guys were really popping off within the true scary stories like realm, like early, And I remember being like jealous of Phantom, what's his name? Phantom Librarian. Wait. Does he still have a channel? Oh, he must have just deleted his channel completely then. But I like vaguely recall that his channel did really well early on and then just kind of disappeared or something. What's YouTube's version of Finsta? Oh, you mean like YouTube Shorts? YouTube Shorts I actually like because it's like all the content that you watch on YouTube but just in short form and stuff. I was going to ask a question about you and all those guys. Yeah, I can't say that I ever like became really close with anybody, but we've always kind of like maintained kind of like touch base here and there for collaborations and all that kind of stuff. Used to listen to me, Corpse Husband, back in 2015, I believe, because that's when I moved into my house, but I also recently subscribed. What happened to Corpse? I don't know. I think he just makes music and he's just sort of a recluse gentleman, I can imagine it probably did feel, I don't know, like he got really popular, right? But he got really popular within the sort of, that realm of people within like TikTok and Twitter and all that kind of stuff that they're sort of like the moral arbiters or like the moral busybodies that if you make any sort of like mistake related to saying something naughty or negative or having any like deviation from what the hive mind thinks, they come after you real quick, you know what I mean? And I can imagine like the type of pressure that it would feel like to be popular amidst that crowd. And then if you were to make yourself like too available, you're eventually going to slip up and say something that's like, different from their dogma. And so, and he's also just been someone that kind of like enjoys his private time and doesn't really put out a lot of stuff anyways. So I'm sure he's just like taking his time with like maybe like a full EP or some shit at some point. I also think he had some like health issues here and there. Who knows if those got worse or not? Hopefully not. That would suck. YouTube Shorts is like 90% Theo Von and Shane Gillis. That's true. I do see them pop up quite a bit. Follow the crowd, find yourself alone, choose alone, and you'll be grand. Yeah, I don't know. Thankfully, I think that like energy is dying though. what do you call them? You call them cry bullies? The ones that sort of like look for every like little ounce of drama they can like squeeze from under every stone. Oh, teacher, he said the naughty, he said the boo bad, and I think that culture is starting to die off, because even, they start to like cannibalize each other as well within their groups, and it kind of like evolves into those sort of like polyamory like memes you see where like somebody in the group is named like Feather or some shit like that. Hey, Feather says that you haven't done the dishes in over 2 years, and they're too socially anxious to like ask you to maybe like step up and take accountability. You're on chilling, being scared app, right? I am now, yeah. We kind of worked out a thing where like new videos will be uploaded over there in conjunction with YouTube. I do see Mr. Nightmare still post stuff from time to time, but he's not very active anymore. I think he is. Actually, I think he might actually be more active. Let's see. Mr. Nightmare. He posted 1 day ago. 8 days ago. So it seems like he posts like weekly, which is pretty... Oh, he's done longer videos too. They're like close to like typical episodes of The Office or something. They're all Office related stories. But yeah, he seems to be doing well. He's kind of an interesting character. He's just like stuck to like his thing forever, and people like it, and just rocking in the free world. Hey, the new vid's pretty good. Y'all should check it out. Which one? Disturbing True Deep Woods Wilderness Horror Stories. Oh, yeah. It's so interesting to me, like, his thumbnails. Like, he's been popular for so long, but I think he's made, like, very few upgrades to really anything. I'm going to look at his video real quick. Well, I guess he's got some B-roll footage of stuff. That's cool. I still owe you feet pics. This is true. Wait, who had a kid? My dad got very sick and died recently, so I haven't heard you in a while. Just got in bed and your voice is comfort. Thanks. You're welcome, Heather. I'm sorry to hear that about your family. I had to stop working because my work was full of bullies that drove me to so much anxiety. I actually got sick physically. I got DX and CPSD because of bullies. Not all from work, but from family too. Really? What are they bullying about? Well, you don't have to say, but... You like that he adds sounds to his storytelling, like door slamming and knocking. Yeah, people say that, but I remember, like, I kind of had that just inadvertently happened with, like, an animation more recently for, like, it was a Reddit video that had an animation at the beginning to kind of go along with the narration. And there were, like, people in the chat, or in the comments, like, losing their shit because, they put it on and immediately go to sleep with it. But it had, like, some sound effects, like car doors opening and whatever. And... even though the story was only 5 minutes, they were just like went to the comment sections to lose their mind about it. But Detroiters is a good show. Man with a joke. Okay, here we go. Sorry, saw it by a friend. Okay. Surprisingly, this is one of those stories I forgot about until a few days ago when I was talking to a school friend on call, and I got reminded of this. She was pretty freaked when I told her. You see, this happened when I was roughly maybe 7 or 8, so some of the details are a bit fuzzy, but I remember it pretty vividly. This may seem like unimportant context, but my family had just moved to America and were renting the top portion of your regular suburban house in a pretty safe cul-de-sac. I had friends. They were triplets, about 3 or 4 houses down. Not far at all. And every day I'd go hang out with them, and around 9 or 10 at night, my older brother... No. Me older brother. Has anyone seen Being Scared's new movie, Yellow Brick Road? Yeah, is it good? Because I think that they do... Is that the sequel? Not far at all. And every day I'd go hang out with them. And around 9 or 10 in the night, my older brother, around 11 or 12 I'd say, would make the 2-minute walk and come and get me and walk me home since I was pretty young. One night he came to get me as usual. The sun wasn't fully down, but it was getting pretty dark. We started down the walk as normal when he started casting glances over his shoulder. I didn't really notice until he shoved me hard away from the sidewalk and between 2 houses. Each house had a huge fence that separated their backyard, not ours though, and he'd made me crouch behind the fence. I remember being really scared, but more confused since I had no damn idea what the hell was going on. More specifically, he was a pretty big prankster. Once he convinced... God damn it. More specifically, he was a pretty big prankster. Once he convinced me my older sister crashed her car into the ocean, so I didn't really believe him when he turned and said, "Walk behind the houses. I think someone's following us." Now looking back now, he was probably trying to keep me calm. However, whatever calm was left in my tiny 8-year-old body was gone the moment that I turned around and looked. The man had followed us behind the houses, and he was just by the edge of a few houses down near a different fence line. He had a black hoodie on, with the hood up, black sweatpants, and white sneakers. I had pretty bad eyesight due to some health problems, but back then it was crystal clear, and I could see with horrifying clarity that his jaw was just hanging open, like he was just standing there with his jaw hung open. It was horrifying. I think now that I'm older, maybe he had some kind of medical condition that affected his jaw, or maybe he did crack, I don't know. But back then, I could have sworn on God that I was seeing some kind of demon. Now anyway, my brother, when he saw that I was looking and getting ready to freak out, he told me, "Just run, as fast as I can to our house." And we booked it. Neither of us looked back, but we were so scared out of our minds. And like I said, we only rented the top portion of the house, so the bottom, with a sliding door in the backyard, belonged to some other tenant. I don't remember if she was home or not, but I remember tugging that thing open and locking it as fast as I can, and when I looked up, he was there in the yard, a little away from the door, just staring at us, with that jaw. Me and my brother told my sister and my mother immediately. My father was away for a work trip at the time, but nothing came of it. Not until the day after. We went to go meet my dad at his warehouse, which had a small live-in portion above where we lazed about. We glazed. Continued. A lot of jealousy. They were bold to tell me that I couldn't complain because... Oh, sorry. I didn't know what you're talking about. I missed the context there. We went to go meet my dad at his warehouse, which had a small live-in portion above it where he... God damn it. I hate, I'm just gonna put it in chat BBC and get on with my life. Fix this grammar. Don't change the story. Shit. Boom, boom, boom. We went to meet my dad at his warehouse, which had a small live-in portion above it where we lazed around until he was ready to head home with us. Around dusk, he came up and told us that we might have to wait since the police were there. He walked us around to the back window of the small area to show us police officers all around the backyard area of the warehouses. There were a few in line and a white van parked on the grass by the edge of the woods. Like I said, I was pretty young, so I don't remember many details of what actually happened, but I do remember my dad, who hadn't been told about the day prior, telling us that they found a man and a woman in the van. The man, he said, had his mouth hanging wide open. He seemed really disturbed while telling me about the whole thing and wouldn't answer any more questions about the woman. Maybe she was dead. I have zero idea. I do know that they were arrested on trespassing charges. I don't know anything else, and I haven't asked about it. I doubt that he'd remember. It's been over a decade, and he's pushing 70, but it freaks me out to this day. I still can't believe it happened, and I don't have any answers for it. I talked to my brother briefly about it in hopes that he remembered more than I do, but all I got was a long tirade about whatever medical condition the guy probably had for his mouth to be like that. He's an annoying medical student now, and sometimes I think maybe the guy didn't mean any harm and was just drugged out of his mind, but this was in the world's safest neighborhood and doesn't explain why or how he showed up at my dad's workplace. Deep Seeker? I don't know. I don't really want to use Chinese bullshit, dude. I mean, would you rather have your data collected by your own government or some foreign adversary? Honestly, I guess it doesn't matter. They'll find a way to get it anyways. Whatever, give my voice over to AI. Maybe for like $10 million. And then they had to promise me that it would get used for, I don't know, like a home assistant or some shit, and had to be like really, really good. But it was kind of stupid. I think I told you guys about how for a while, like YouTube would, in the area where you manage your videos, and it's like the creator zone, was basically asking if like all of these, if you just give them the blanket right to like use all of your content to create an AI version of yourself that they said was going to be given to like third-party companies to like help protect against, you know, content theft in some way. But to me it was like, wait, why do all these other fucking companies like Amazon, whatever, also need to have like complete and unmitigated access to like our content to create an AI version of us, and we're not even getting fucking paid for it? You know what I mean? It just, to me, it immediately struck a bad string in my gut that they were just going to use it to then not necessarily replace us, but like have unlimited resources to create whatever like entertainment, you know, AI thing they ever need and never pay anybody ever again, you know? Hopefully not all the sex movies put into AI you see might be the future. I guess I wouldn't be surprised. Random, where are you getting those one-liners? They're actually from the live streams. So if you stick around, you can help us think of a funny one. I don't like AI. I don't like AI either. And you remember how last time I was talking about that like Project Stargate thing? I just been like, you know, hearing rumblings about it from other people as well, and it just sounds like it's supposed to be like this all-encompassing, almost like borderline godlike mega security system that also just so happens to have like access to everyone's medical records, collating that information. I don't know, dude. To me, that just seems like a major threat to like people's, like humans as they are right now. It just seems like a major threat to their sovereignty. Because I really do imagine that like whatever the desire for like what humans will become in the future, it just scares me, like how much influence technology can have over us, rewiring our brain, you know, triggering things inside of our head to make us think differently or just like feel good and not care anymore. You know what I mean? Like it's basically like imagine like psych medications, but remotely. Yeah, and imagine that too, the mind chips. Like imagine like once you give yourself over to a Elon Musk Neuralink or whatever, right? And you see all these people who maybe individuals in like wheelchairs who or like in compromised health positions that now can like communicate incredibly fast, and it seems like really inspiring. Or like a chess, a normal kid like defeating, Chad McJorgensen, the chess champion of the world, just because their brain works that much faster now. So you almost feel like you need to like get it to keep up. But at that point, like, are you even really like human anymore? And is this like sort of transhumanism movement going to be used to take away what it even means to be human in the future? And how, essentially we're just like easily manipulated and changed, and just with like the click of a fucking button or the interaction of some sort of, do we have a seizure if we go up into the, on a plane because we're interacting too close to some magnetic field? Like, it's just like all these questions. Look at Elon, he's a legit alien. He just acts non-human. I'll be honest with you, Elon doesn't act human, and Mark Zuckerberg doesn't act human. Like, just the way that they talk, I'm like, are these cyborgs? Are these just like fake people that are in, all of the companies that they say they run are just like fronts? I don't know. It's just weird to me. Have you seen the movie Gattaca? I have not. I think that's the funniest part about like Zuckerberg's like newest like marketing change up with him, where he's like, look guys, I put on like a new t-shirt and got curly hair and a fucking stupid gold chain, and I do jujitsu, and I say things are based now. I am not a lizard man. I am not a robot. I am version 2.0 put out by the US government. I promise that you can trust me. See guys, now you can say the N-word on Instagram. I'm a good guy. I am good. I don't know, just like, we see, we know the truth. We know the real truth. Yeah, honestly, MySpace Tom took his money and ran. And I think he was smart. He saw what was coming. But who knows, maybe he'll come back with some sort of robot army to like defend us. Elon openly manipulates on the Diablo. Yeah, to me that's just whatever. I don't even care. Him trying to like impress his nerd friends or something. Or who knows, maybe he just wants to play on like the highest like raid whatever, and like, he's like, that'd be funny if like that was the whole purpose behind the whole H-1B visas or whatever the fuck it is. You feel a weird vibe from him? Yeah, I don't know, man. Isn't it strange though that like all we do all day is talking about like just talk about people that have nothing to do with us? Like obviously they do make like money moves that have certain effects on us. Maybe we partake in their like products, such as the social media and all that kind of stuff. But it's weird that in the same way that like a politician can market themselves, these characters have also like marketed themselves as abstract entities that you either like or don't like within society. Like, why the fuck does anyone give a shit about Bill Gates at all? Like, and why do we have to see him all the fucking time? Like, why does he go on like TV shows all the time when all he did was like steal somebody's fucking operating system code and then claimed it was his and then created a fucking monopoly? I mean, it's impressive, I guess, from a business perspective, but I do not want to hear anything about his fucking riz. Though him jumping over a computer chair is pretty sick. Detroit Become Human. Yeah, I made it pretty far in Detroit Become Human, but I still need to beat it. I've been saying this for years. People spend way too much time focusing on these people that don't care about you, that don't know you exist. And that's the most important thing, is that they don't know you exist. But there's a reason that a billionaire shows you their face every day. There's a reason that a billionaire gets involved. And some people want to sit there and say that it's, because they're narcissistic. They're like, oh, I learned the word narcissistic on TikTok. Let me say it every fucking 5 seconds. No, it's eventually to sell you on something or to familiarize you to the point that they can fandangle their way into like other positions, It's not for some sort of like greater sense of benevolence, Joel, do you know I exist? Please say yes. I mean, I know the word on my screen, Tribbleclef, exists, but I don't know you, you know what I mean? Like as a person. And maybe that's for the best that I don't know anybody as a person, really, because maybe it would be too much for my brain to comprehend. And maybe it would be too much for your brain to comprehend me as well. And that it's probably healthy or best that we just kind of continue to exist within this limited social platform. I'd rather live my life than focus on these people. That's why I stopped watching the news. I'm so much happier. Yeah, I 100% agree with you. That's why I've like every time I've like ever like, you get on YouTube and the first thing you see is like epic own big booty Latina or whatever, it just could be fucking anything. And but then as soon as you get into the realm of like YouTube that's like actually positive and trying to like help you expand your creative outlets, that's when suddenly you feel like your body is just in like more of a sense of contentment and joy. Because I mean, that's the thing is like, and that's kind of why I think like a lot of the times these video games like purposefully put you on a team that is almost like a guaranteed loss, because there is a certain, like at the end of the day, what's the difference between winning a video game and losing? And if they make you feel like you stomp people versus getting completely stomped, that actually psychologically may have already been like research to show that it's there to just like keep you engaged in the same way it is with like divisive political content on the internet or whatever. I mean, and sometimes people like, these OnlyFans girls, they're smart. They like know that they can post something that like is kind of divisive or something because they know that it's going to generate a bunch of interactions and comments of random dudes being like, actually fucking not that at all. That's fucking stupid. Your dad's pissed, But all it is just like pushing their algorithm in like a wider net further and further. Why not just all agree that the world is ending at some point? That's true. Try to like put yourself in the position of like a peasant back in like ancient Greece, I'm sure they weren't too stoked about things, but I imagine your life as a whole is probably substantially more comfortable than theirs. And maybe that's just all you are right now. You are a peasant in Greece. One day you will pass away. So why not make the best of it while you can and with the power that you have? And if there's in some fashion in which you can expand that power or that wealth, I'd say go for it. But we might as well stay realistic with ourselves. Why not New Greece? Why is it all ancient? That's true. Why not Grease Bucket? I don't believe true joy can be found online. Literally go outside, turn off your phone, and be with nature. A few days of raw dogging. That you start to feel proper joy again, like hard, real realness. That's true. To the point where I'm sure you'll look back on your internet life and just scoff or at least giggle. Hopefully you do a bit of a giggle. Shout out to the mods. I don't even know where they're at. It's just me. I have no assistant teachers today. Do we all think the world will end in our lifetime? I don't think so. I mean, there's certainly, I guess, the possibility of nuclear war or something like that. But I don't know. I think the human as a commodity is too valuable to completely eradicate. You know what I mean? Like if I was at the way top and I found some sort of value in like farming people based on like labor and, tax farming and all that kind of stuff, like I wouldn't want them all to go away. I'd just be a bit more of a controlled demolition type scenario. And who knows? Heard the Pompeii brothels were heavy when visiting. What do you mean heavy? Favorite flavor of potato chips? Oh man, yeah. I like the purple Doritos, but I do like barbecue stuff, and they're all so good, man. Chips, brother, chips. But a lot of that person who said his rambling was nice is spot on. I'm just gaming and hearing some funny stuff. Yeah, that's all you need in life, right? That's the thing, yeah. Just controlled demolition, and then you come in and clean up the chaos and make it, you become the phoenix that you want to see manifest within the chaos, You mean the women in the brothels in Pompeii were slaves and were kept in small, awful rooms and subjected to God knows what, with little hope of ever escaping? So, yeah, just be thankful that that's not you. You won the existence RNG battle. It might not be the best ever, all the time, but it's probably better than that. And just think about all the people that are still going through like slavery in the modern day, the human trafficking through like the cartel, through Mexico, through South America. You could be a slave over in Saudi Arabia right now, getting beat with a billy club. But I guess you really don't understand how good you have it until you really see it, And who knows, maybe that's the experience you need. You need to just go see it. Where even am I? Did I read this one? Warehouse and lazed around. How we should have my dad's workplace. Damn, I've been yapping too much tonight. It's taking up a lot of time. What's my zodiac sign? I'm curious. Also, do you believe in astrology? I don't believe in astrology. The reason being is that imagine if you had Christians, Muslim, Jews around you all the time saying they believed all this like stuff, right? They believe in Jesus, they believe in Muhammad, they believe in Yahweh, but they never told you why they believed it, right? And that's kind of how I am with astrology, where it's like there's so many people that are into it, right? But they never take a second to explain to me why they believe what they believe, or what the purpose of it is, or what the use of it is. And it's fun to believe in things, but if there's no reason external from just looking at someone and doing like space racism, to just like be like, oh, all Geminis are bugger heads, you know what I mean? I just don't really see the use. But I am open to hearing about it for show. You don't believe in the moons and the stars? Yeah, space is fake too. I think it's a tool. It's not something or believe in. It's just a tool to navigate yourself. Such, I think pop astrology is a nightmare. Yeah, but I respect that perspective. I mean, anything that helps you better yourself, then go for it. Whether it's learning from a philosophy book, from Aristotle, or whatever. If it helps you, that's good, but still doesn't tell me anything about what it is. Yeah, spacism. As above, so below. I mean, it's just too cryptic. You need to give me detailed description of what astrology is. You're not going to poetically lead me into it, you know what I mean? And I'm not saying you have to either. You owe me nothing as far as your beliefs go. But I would like to understand them. You learn from Harry Potter. Harry Potter is real, though. That's the thing. Don't care what anybody says. Hermione is my girlfriend. Does a spider have an astrology? Yeah, what's that spider sign? And does it make it a worse or better spider? Do they go to heaven when they die? Or are they just alive then dead? Maybe you'll be a spider next. Maybe you were a spider before. You've turned to witchcraft. Are you a good witch or a bad witch? And do you get an owl? Or do you get a rat? There's no ultimate purpose in astrology. It does seem rather aimless. Like where it's like you can have a belief in something, but that you're not really being held to like any sort of higher standard, I guess, or like any sort of abstract expectation from a distant god or internal god or really anything. But does astrology even have like a way of life or philosophy at all? Or is it literally just like an anticipation of people's inborn personalities? Like, I don't get it. It was the earliest form of astronomy? I don't know about that. I mean, I can understand looking at them and that kind of thing, but to then derive ideas about people, you know what I mean? Because I don't think anybody on at NASA is thinking about your personality at all. Astrology is a practice. There's rules like math. It's just made up rules, though. Well, right, but tell me more about the rules. There we go. We got to get somewhere, because I feel like every time anybody tells me about astrology, it's always like the most ambiguous, nondescript concept I've ever heard. It's just like, it's literally no different than me opening up the horoscopes within the newspaper and them being like, you're gonna fucking take a big old shit tomorrow. I just know it. You're a Gemini. So people who hate others for their sun sign are ridiculous and they're wrong. Don't listen to them when it comes to the image of astrology. It's not that deep and people need to chill. So you're into it, Justin, but also it's not that deep? I just feel like it would have to be sort of deep to even like be remotely interested in it or find any degree of truth from it. Large cosmic objects have gravitational pull. The minute differences in those forces have subtle impacts across the cosmos. Perturbations, I know that word. The conditions we developed in can impact how we behave later in life. So it's like a butterfly effect, but based on gravity? I mean, I guess that makes sense. Like if you were to go backwards in time and piss in like a dinosaur puddle, it would make my grandpa a real asshole. Maybe it's my fault. Or maybe it's the moon and stars that he was born under. But aren't all those stars already dead? Like it's in the fact that the light is now just getting here, but some of the stars have already burned out and gone. So wouldn't that mean that those effects are incorrect? And hasn't the like fluctuations on the position of the Earth changed what we would define as star signs? The birthday book had me pegged. You got pegged. I don't know. If anyone wants to type a large paragraph and explain it where it makes any sort of sense, because all I'm hearing in the chat is that I like it and that I don't understand it and that I don't want to tell you anymore, which is fine. I like stuff that I can't explain. Like the smell of my own farts, I guess. When I was a freshman in high school, Alyssa was my role model. Alyssa was a senior. She was so gorgeous, confident, smart, effortlessly stylish, and always owning the room. Back then, I was too shy to talk to her. Seniors are already pretty intimidating to freshmen, but Alyssa was next level intimidating because she was such a queen. I didn't expect anyone to see me the way that I saw Alyssa, but I was pleasantly surprised in my senior year. And in my senior year, I started finding cute little notes in my locker. I wasn't expecting that at all, but I was really flattered. The first one said, "You were beautiful in that dress on Friday." The handwriting was neat and simple with a cute little heart at the end. More notes kept coming in, always in fourth period too, and I got a note every week or two. I know they came during fourth period because I checked my locker before and after every class, and they were all very sweet, and they said things like, "Your smile lights up the hallway. You shine brighter than any star. Your homecoming photos are straight out of a magazine cover. So stunning." There were more notes than I don't... Oops. Why are all these stories deja vu? It's probably because pickleball is in waxing right now. I'm an Aquarius and it describes me well. Do you think that's it, though? Do you think it's maybe just a lot simpler than, like, people just kind of associate themselves with generalizations and language, and maybe they're just, if you like, it's almost like you have to want to believe it before you even get into it or something. Astrology, especially the calculation of astrology, is really deep, but people often ignore that and don't appreciate the original ideas behind it. People just look at their sign and make conclusions. Oh, okay, so they don't even dig into like the specifics. So you guys are saying that if I actually took time to learn astrology, I could be your like high priest that you consult with? I could be your god, maybe? I'm feeling like Dwight Schrute right now. I want to start a cult. People who are born under around the time when the sun signs are as how they are as people. It's just the way it is, man. I know. Yeah, but I think that's how I really take the Buttersock cult to the next level. Is I need to start just saying garbledygook about the stars and stuff and convince you guys that I'm onto something. Guilty pleasures, Overwatch Rivals don't count. Well, I'm done with those, Sam. I've uninstalled. My guilty pleasure is eating an entire buttercream cake with strawberry filling and getting fat. Blaming actions on your sign is, yeah, sorry I crashed my car, I'm a Pacandrius. I'm a Denarius. I'm an Aries and they are psychos, so they stop learning about it. Yeah, I don't know, I feel like there's gotta be times where is that you're telling me there's not a single time whenever you found out someone's star sign and you were like, that makes no sense. With a voice like yours, the cult is already assembled. Assemble! A lot overlaps with numerology and Chinese astrology. The code has yet to be cracked, but it involves all three simultaneously. Oh, okay, so there's not like a lot of rules to it. So you're saying that it's so ambiguous in its outcome that there's not a lot of expectation from its followers to have any sort of like specific rules or interpretations. And the mystery therein almost makes it the most appealing part, I suppose. Personally, I think Myers-Briggs makes more sense than astrology does. Yeah, I imagine so. Become a Reiki master to heal people with energy. Can I just heal you with can I just say that my voice will heal all your illnesses? Would that get me more subscribers? Guys, you should do that. Next time you tell people about my channel, tell them that this guy's voice will literally heal you. It's like a 432 hertz frequency times 200. All of your brain tumors will just like dissipate. I think astrology is all fun and games. Each person is their own entity. I would trust my tarot deck to tell me what my day will be like more than a generic horoscope. Oh, I thought tarot cards were like a crossover with astrology. What's up, Jonesy? How you doing, dude? Yeah, my voice can get your credit score very up there. You just need to buy my meme coin first, and I'll send you another voice note of me farting. There were more notes that I don't remember. They were romantic or flirty. Whoops. There were more notes that I don't remember. They weren't romantic or flirty, and they looked like things that I might have said to Alyssa if we'd ever spoken. I thought maybe they were from a shy underclassman girl, and I had my suspicions. I didn't tell anyone about the notes, though. I really didn't want my friends turning this into an investigation and embarrassing whoever was leaving them. And whoever was leaving these messages, I genuinely thought they meant well. Then in the second semester, my schedule changed. My class of the day was upstairs. Your class is upstairs. Asshole explosioso. I'm surprised there wasn't like a Harry Potter spell that made people diarrhea. That'd be so cool. My last class of the day was upstairs near my friend's locker. My friend's last class was near my locker, and we swapped lockers. I forgot all about the notes until my 18th birthday. And that morning, my friend handed me a note that she found in my old locker, and it said, "Happy birthday, princess." At first, she thought the notes were meant for her, since any of those compliments could fit her too. But when she realized that the birthday didn't match up, she put two and two together. And come to think of it, I don't think any of the notes ever said my name. I admitted that the notes had been happening all year, and I explained that I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. Then my friends launched their investigation that I had been worried about. All the girls in our friend group became detectives trying to solve this little mystery, and one friend, who didn't have a fourth period class, stationed herself by the lockers to survey that area, and it worked. The notes weren't from a shy freshman or even from a boy. They were from a janitor, an older woman none of us knew. We all recognized her, but I don't think any of us had ever talked to her. She'd been leaving these notes for several months, watching me closely enough to comment on my outfits, field hockey games, and even what I posted on Facebook. I saw her at the last field hockey game of the season. She sat quietly in the stands, and that was the only time that I noticed her watching me, but I have no idea how places I didn't notice... Wait, what? But I have no idea how places I didn't notice her watching me. Fusrota! The janitor comes up to talk to you, and she just says, as like a teen girl in high school, Fusrota! And it just turns the janitor into like blood and bones. Jesus Christ. But then the principal comes up. It's fine. She was a pedophile. You're allowed to kill them with magic spells. Joel's voice cured my back pain. See? I told you guys. Miracle worker. Me, 1. Astrology, 0. Winning. Okay, what is this trying to say? That was the only time I noticed her watching me, but I have no idea how places... Oh, how I missed the places I didn't notice. Okay. Judalon, what's up? Everyone's offended. They're all in the chat. I'm like, I'm the other people. No, I don't think I said anything bad. I'm just asking questions. Is it illegal to ask people questions? My voice might be witchcraft, perhaps. I command. Not chaos magic, but peace magic. Across the land, sudden and abrupt peace. I'm not like other girls. I have shouts that I learned from the Greybeards. I saw her at the last field hockey game of the season. She sat quietly in the stands. That was the only time I noticed her watching me, but I have no idea how places I didn't notice... I don't know what the fuck. I saw her at the last field hockey game of the season. She sat quietly in the stands. That was the only time that I noticed her watching me, but I have no idea how I didn't notice her watching me before. None of us brought this up to her, and she hadn't done anything technically wrong, but it all felt so unsettling in a way that's very hard to explain. Guaranteed Joel's a good singer. Maybe one day, dude. I really do want to learn how to sing. I think it'd be sick. That actually would be kind of a cool thing to sell as like merch, or limited time merch would be like tarot cards. But I would hate to like unleash any sort of evil things upon you, should they attract negative entities. The Age of Aquarius. This transition is part of a larger cycle of the precession of the equinoxes, which takes about 26,000 years to complete. This, too, is just one very small aspect of I do believe. This, too, is just one very small aspect of I do believe. Wait. This, too, is one very small... Oh, Zerk. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't fucking know anything, dude. You could literally tell me that the like short dude at the circus is just like comprised of primarily jelly under his big jacket. I'd be like, yeah, it's fine. Suck it out. Suck that jelly. Do I believe in ghosts, or are you spiritual? I am, yeah. I mean, growing up, I was raised in Christian churches, and I still would say that a lot of my identity internally, but much more personal, is like connected to a relationship with God in the Christian context, for sure, I would say. Do I go to church much? Not anymore. Why? I guess because I'm lazy, and I just kind of got tired of it and bored. And because Snagglepuss started going to that church, and he was just such a freak. But I don't know. I definitely sometimes feel like my house is haunted, but more in a way of just like loneliness, I guess. Haunted by a spirit of lonely. And do I believe that my cat protects me from spirits? Maybe he teams up with Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit and keeps me safe. I don't know. Do I have ADHD perchance? I don't really believe in ADHD, to be honest with you. Like, it seems like they came up with the term and then like figured out the actual science behind it like later or something, you know what I mean? But it's always like so ambiguous that to me it just feels like a really weird thing that everybody loves to like throw around all the time. Like, I'm sure there's some people that clearly have like issues, you know, focusing, but I've never really had any. Like, when I need to lock in, I can just like immediately like lock the fuck in and just get it done. There was this one like I watched this thing the other day. It was about a CIA professional in psyop, psychological operations, but also like brainwashing and interrogation. And he was saying that you can get any information out of somebody by basically splitting their personality. And the manner in which you split their personality is by gaslighting them into thinking that they have a psychological disorder. So you ask them some questions, and then throughout it you basically do these leading questions that eventually lead to you saying, oh, you're actually placed in the 99.9th percentile of split personality. And so like once you've planted that seed into their mind that they have some sort of diagnosis, then it's almost like that thus begins the process of dividing their personality and like accessing different methods of information, because suddenly they like lean into that concept of like psychological disorder due to the identity that you gaslit them into believing. So sometimes I kind of feel like when a lot of people like sort of in the populace constantly try to like self-diagnose somebody else, it almost makes me feel like there's this ongoing weird phenomenon within society where everyone's trying to like just armchair diagnosis and like create a sense of like psychological impairment or identity within people, especially with kids. Like I fucking hate the fact that people constantly try to like tell kids that they have issues when they really don't. You know, it's just that school fucking sucks and it's hard and it's annoying and it's not normal for kids, similar to puppies, to like lock the fuck in and stay focused. You know what I mean? So it's just, sometimes I find it like just, that's something that very much irks me a lot when people try to like just throw psych diagnoses and weird variation identifiers all around like it has any sort of meaning. Because I really do think that like the more you call somebody something or give them a label, it really does dig into their subconscious over time to almost like end up becoming that thing, you know? Some doctors don't want to label patients because there's a fear people will lean into that identity. That's a good point too. Imagine if you walked up to a kid, your kid or somebody else's kid that you have influence in their life, and every day you said a good thing to them. You know what I mean? You said like a nice thing to them, like, you're such a patient person. You are so patient. You're so attentive. You are so kind. Or you're such a giving, you're such a, like, because I heard that the other day with my buddy's daughter. Like, she was like, my mom says that I have a lot of hospitality. And it was related to the fact that like she was getting me this little drawing board so that we could draw anime and shit. And I was like, yeah, you do have hospitality. And I was like, you could tell from like somebody saying a positive affirmation to who they are as an identifying word, it like sticks with them. You know what I mean? And that's what I think more people should do, is honestly just like give each other words of affirmation that are good identifiers or good adjectives. But yeah, I definitely keep the screens away from their eyes for sure. At least me believe I have schizotism. Thanks, buddy. I think, actually, you know what I think about you? I think you're a good skateboarder. And that you should do a fucking backflip like Bam Margera, dude. How sick would that be? You should go to a vert ramp right now and do a 900. You're a skateboarder. You should be skateboarding. What are you doing not skateboarding right now? This happened several years ago. While it may not be as scary as some of the stories here, it was definitely one of the most terrifying, bizarre encounters I've ever had. I'm 33 and I live in the rural Midwest. I was born and raised in my hometown, and with the exception of a few months of living with my father on the East Coast, I've lived here my entire life. I've become pretty acquainted with the majority of the back roads in my area. One such road is an old highway that no longer has the traffic of days prior to the construction of the interstate that runs through the town. It's a long and winding road that offers gorgeous scenic views during the day and a quiet escape from the city at night. Although this road is a small lot with no more than 10 parking spaces, 2 picnic tables and do a story on the Russian sleep experiment. I think I have a whole video, Russian sleep experiment. So technically I have done a story. I ripped my ACL scar tissue last time I tried to drop in. Oh, so you do skateboard? See? I told you, bro. You just need to not give up. You just need to not give up. It's just part of the sport. Have I done alien abduction? I have, yeah. I think at like the 200,000 subscriber video, there's actually a really cool intro that Robin did with like aliens. It's pretty sick. Hey, thank you, Juan. Along this road is a small lot with no more than 10 parking spaces, 2 picnic tables, and a single trash can. It's easy to miss due to the heavily wooded area surrounding it and the majority of the rest of the drive to it, and due to its secluded nature, it had played host to a fair share of teenage debauchery. I myself spent many a Friday night smoking away with my friends there. Needless to say, there were a lot of good memories attached to this place, and over the years, it's become one of my favorite spots to venture to when I need peace or solidarity. One night, about 5 years ago, my girlfriend and I are going through a rough patch. We had a big fight due to having to work early in the morning and her deciding to have a party full of her loud and intoxicated friends, and things escalated and I stormed out of the house and started driving towards my favorite spot. As soon as I was out of the city limits, I promptly cranked my angriest metal music and sped down the road, chain-smoking my menthols in an effort to calm down until I finally found the turnoff for the spot. I was happy to find no other cars in the lot, meaning that I wouldn't awkwardly stumble upon 2 lovers engaged in, the act. And I immediately jumped out of the car and sat down on one of the picnic tables, lit a cigarette, and stared at the stars. I sat there for several minutes until I decided to head back to the warmth of my car after hearing some rustling coming from the woods. Not wanting to become a chew toy for a coyote or an angry bobcat, I hustled back to my car and blared my music again, quickly forgetting the sounds that I had just heard. I decided to have one more smoke and then make my way home. I smoked it halfway. That's funny. Halfway. What's up, William? Belly boy. Look up REM-driven human cloning. It's a real tech. REM-driven human cloning. What does the REM stand for in the cloning process? Alien abductions happen... Oh, you're there too, sorry. Alien abductions happen by transferring consciousness to a clone body. That's why people can never record it happening to them. Interesting. I've always been curious about that. Like, what is... transference of consciousness? Because would that imply that your consciousness is somehow scientifically separate from your brain activity, and that what we define as consciousness is not the appropriate definition? Wait, Joe, I'm confused. Are you a Christian? What are your beliefs? I'm curious. It's like, I am, but I guess I'm just lazy. I'm a lazy Christian who is also open to like all the other concepts like evolution and ideas of that, and I realize a lot of my beliefs are like heavily based on like the conditioning of my younger years, and especially my identity finding years of my teenage years and college, and a lot of it is predicated on fear of being wrong. You know what I mean? If you're wrong, you go to heck, but at the same time, not really putting in the efforts that seems to be expected of someone that's like hardcore Christian, just because it's so much effort. Like there's a lot that's expected from you when you really go into it, and I just don't think I can handle the expectation of it. But at the same time, there's a part of me that just sort of leans very heavily into the hope that, well, maybe Jesus loves me and everything will work out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But at the same time, it's not like I'm the type of Christian that would like, you know what I mean? I don't give a shit about gay stuff. I don't care about, you know what I mean? Anything that would like be derived in a negative fashion from Christianity, I'm just not. Like, I definitely lean very heavily into like the loving all type vibe of Jesus, as opposed to like the wrath-filled, sin-hating version of the Old Testament kind of situation, even though I would say objectively there's not much has changed, because there still is a pretty heavy expectation upon Christians to be a certain way, I guess. I don't know. Gay stuff, a good dog name. You could name your dog that. I don't know. But at the same time, like, you know, if someone was like, it's all fake, I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense too. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I just like, who am I as some sort of singular point of human focus with one brain, one perspective, one anything, like even remotely capable of understanding everything and all things. Any stories from Kyrgyzstan? Maybe. Do you narrate any books? Just the channel, unfortunately. I feel like books would just take too much time.
Hey Taylor, how you doing?
All religions spawn from a forgotten knowledge. That was kind of like what Heretic was sort of going for, but at the same time, I feel like it really missed out on capitalizing on it being true within the context of the story. It just seemed like it ended very abruptly. I like the Bigfoot stories. My dad had one who looked at him through a window, too, and scared enough to stay up all night waiting in his car for it to come back with his .303 rifle lock and loaded. Yeah, I remember reading one similar to that, where like Bigfoot's, it seems like they have a lot of tendencies that are similar. Looking through windows, making yelping noises, throwing like big rocks at trees, knocking on trees, tying like little pieces of sticks together to like look like the humans that they live near. Almost like they consider you family or friends. Is the podcast basically YouTube videos but in podcast format? They are, yep. But it sounds a little bit better since the audio is remastered. Where did I grow up? I grew up in Pennsylvania. Joel, if you watch Joe Rogan, look up the interview with Wes Huff. His take on Christianity is along those lines. Yeah, I mean, that's the unfortunate thing about reality, is that you never will know until you're gone, I guess. And hopefully it all works out, I suppose. But it's weird sometimes when I think about just like how, I guess the most difficult part is just like thinking about how people in like incredible positions of power, both monetarily and militaristically, treat human life. Because you just every day, millions of souls just like wiped out in like foul swoop, turned into a mist, and their whole purpose, their whole existence is just, it's like you spend your whole life, I'm 34, like trying to find some sort of purpose, and like, I don't know, it's just odd. How do you make sense of any of it? Pennsylvania Dutch, not quite. Any tattoos? No. Anyways, you know, I guess it's nothing to get worked up about. And I think that's kind of like where I've arrived in relation to, I think that's where I've arrived in relation to a lot of my spiritual beliefs, is like, do I want to sit here and like torture myself mentally all the time trying to adhere to, a belief system that's like essentially never satisfied and you're constantly just like mentally self-flagellating? Or would you rather just like allow God to just God and, try your best and just whatever? What can you do? Do insects go to heaven then? I just don't know how anyone believes in it all. I don't know. I don't think in like Christianity, I have no idea if like they imply that anybody outside of their favorite dog has a soul. It's just like, how would they ever know? I'm Catholic. Yes, sometimes I feel like I'm following the expectations. It's hard, but as long as you do your best, good person, help others believe in God, I guess. Well, I mean, like specifically within the Christian context, like the belief system is that no matter, like as long as you accept the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, like your, sins are forgiven. There's nothing you can do to like out-sin it, even though you shouldn't try and out-sin it or whatever. Like, I feel bad for Catholics sometimes because like a lot of their beliefs seem to have like some variation. I observed growing up where it did seem to have a lot more on like what your actions were, on whether or not you were good enough for God. But seemingly the teachings of whatever came in the New Testament is kind of the opposite of you trying harder. It's more about just like you accepting like a gift, essentially, you know. But I'm not trying to push that on anybody or anything, like not trying to turn this into religious hour. It's just, what can you do? If I have a cat or a dog, I have a cat. He is black. Yeah, the Catholic guilt seems like too much sometimes. I smoked it halfway through when, out of nowhere, I heard pounding coming from the passenger side of my car. I looked over to see a large hand beating against the window. I turned down my music that was still blasting, and as I did, I could hear a very angry voice shouting, "Open the door," while yanking on the door handle. Thankfully, my locks were doored. You're supposed to repent, ask for forgiveness, and not do the same mistakes again. You do, you grow, you learn to try to do better each time. Yeah, but even that, it's like this expectation of like action from yourself. It's like if it all falls on like Jesus and the cross, then it's just like, why even like bother your own brain with like worrying about guilt or anything like that? But yeah, once again, you can just like talk yourselves in circles with that kind of shit. And I in many ways, I just need to escape from that mentality because it does sort of eat you from the inside out. Thankfully, my doors were locked, and after a few moments, the man disappeared from the passenger side and then reappeared out of the driver's side window while screaming and cursing at me to open the door. He was now punching my window trying to get in. I was frozen, in a mix of confusion and fear, but eventually snapped out of it and threw the car in reverse. It was so dark that I didn't get a good look at the guy, except for a split second he was illuminated by my headlights. He had a black zip-up hoodie with the hood up, a dark gray t-shirt and a ball cap. He was a stocky guy and had to be well over 6 feet as he towered over my Sonata. The only distinguishing feature that I could make out was a very large, dark beard. And I noped out of there real quick. I floored it across the parking lot and back towards the highway, and that's when I heard it. A loud bang that sounded like a gun. I slammed my foot on the pedal, took the first turn I could find, and once I was sure that no one was following me, I slowed down and realized that I was doing 90 on a gravel road. At the time, one of my best friends worked for a nearby gas station, so I made one. Any stories from China? We did do an episode about the Uyghurs. That was something they don't want to talk about too often, or people try to cover up. Be careful of anyone who holds power, for power breeds corruption. Look into the laundries in Ireland run by the church. Ireland's shame. That'd be interesting, yeah. And then what's the group? The IRA? They're like the Catholic Taliban or some shit, essentially. Their terrorist attacks. I really only heard about them once Sam started covering that stuff, like, because he does the true crime on the channel. And, yeah. Scary shit. Irish Republic Army, yeah. If it feels wrong, it's probably wrong. Listen to your gut, that little voice, and just do good. I agree. Yeah, it's something anybody can abide by for sure. All of our products are from China. Now we need all our stories from China. Yeah, we do. I remember hearing recently, I don't know how true it is, but it was just some like YouTube short my friend sent me, but it was talking about like all these like hundreds of transformers, that like supply power and all that kind of stuff to the various grids across the United States, had some sort of like backdoor microchip access by China, so that at any moment they could just like shut those transformers down and like turn off the power to the United States. And that kind of scared me, whether it was true or not, because it's like, holy shit, yeah, we do buy pretty much all of our products for cheap from China. Who's to, you know? I'm sure, like, with how much data has been gathered, it would probably be a swift strike, should it ever come. China. China's very scary. Very, very scary. They eat with sticks. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not right. Not good, eating with sticks. You're supposed to use a fork and a spoon. A spork sometimes. We talked it over and ultimately decided not to call the police. It was a 20-minute drive to the location from the closest town, and we were sure that the guy would most likely be gone by the time anyone got all the way there. Yes, I realize this was probably ignorant of me in hindsight, and I'm still baffled by this encounter. I don't know if the guy wanted to rob me, steal my car, or worse, but I'm glad I made it home in one piece, and I hope I never meet that maniac again. I'm working on a video tonight too. Thanks for helping keep me company. You're welcome. Count Trumpula. My favorite cereal, Count Trumpula. Joel may have a sudden upheaval, something seemingly catastrophic, but out with the old in with the new. There is maybe a business transaction that has him pretty preoccupied so much it affects his relationship. What? Is that my horoscope for the day? What is that? Is that what you looked up? Did what get through? Oh, that's my tarot card reading. Thank you so much. Babes, are you into any of that? Any of that mumbo jumbo? I'm pretty secluded too, but I'm still got from my mom who was carrying it, but didn't actively have it. Oh, sorry, you're talking to somebody else. I always want to jump in between your guys' conversations. Read your comment. Where is it? For the record, Joel, you're doing something amazing here. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, YouTube has been a pretty great blessing to me because I do get to like help a lot of other people in my life. I mean, kind of like obviously helping friends and family and that kind of thing, but more recently, like starting that gym has been like a pretty amazing community to see grow just locally, and how many people have gotten benefit from having access to it, and then all of the sort of, you know, ripple effect that's kind of came from that. Please describe how I look. Do you happen to know someone named Gorlock the Destroyer? Well, let's just say that's my girlfriend. And we're twins. Still here, so bored trying to fill the void. Spent most of my time knotted out doing nothing. Knotted out? What does that mean? There's your business, Joel's Gym. Boom. I'm figured out. I swear it's more like things that I do that are right and I'm putting good into this world, the more bad things happen to me. Why is this, I wonder? Wait. I swear it's like the more things I do that are right and I'm putting good into this world, the more bad things happen to me. I feel like I'd have to hear some specifics to kind of derive what you mean, but unfortunately, if you're willing to be like generous to others, you have to sort of anticipate that it will not be returned. What the hell? My cat's back here playing drums. Kitty cat, what are you doing? You're so sweet. You're a little poopy. Okay, anyways. Alright. That's why I've been MIA. I've been clean for over 60 days currently in a methadone program. Oh, okay, good. Yeah, shit. Fuck. Sorry, shorty. Damn. Fuck. Well, I'm glad you're somewhere safe, you know. Deal. This change or business deal really is taking up his entire headspace in a way, but there will someone with some good advice that will help Joel. It'll most likely be from an older, what does it say? Success. Three years clean, that's good. It's okay. I fucked up. Had all that clean time, but I'm okay. I'm alive. Yeah. Damn. I don't know. I mentioned about my brother before, and it's, I don't know. It's scary. Scary to observe. People just become different people. All right. Well, upward and onward, I suppose. Alright, anyways. To start off, this is a bit long. I have a few stories that I've thought about sharing here recently, but some things have happened that feel like I need to get off. What the fuck? Having an aneurysm. Also, there's a part of me that wonders if I read this story before, but don't just say it sounds familiar. I need like 100% confirmation if I have. But I don't know, there's something about it. YouTube is super hard. I hope you never stop. YouTube's not that hard, honestly. It's a pretty easy situation. Like once you find a system, you know what I mean? And I've got good systems in place that kind of keep the content flowing. So it's been nice. To start off, this is a bit long. I'm just going to skip that part. I work at a data destruction company. We have large trash bins that are given to our clients who then fill them with any sensitive information they want to destroy. Our truck drivers pick them up, then the paper is separated from and trash. You're in Saudi Arabia, that's cool. What are you doing there? I think you're worried about the channel's success and or if you need to change yourself or you as a person who is committed to things and you don't take things lightly when thinking about change. I mean, I guess I do at times worry about the success of the channel, you know, and sometimes it's kind of stagnant, but as long as it's not going down, I feel good about that, but it would be nice to see it go up. But yeah, if I do make change, it's definitely something I gotta ruminate over for a while. Less yapping, more reading, boy. There's a reason it's called Let's Read and not Let's Go Yap. Let's go yap. Let's go gambling. Do you ever spit game in your reading voice? Hello there. Would you like to go gambling with me? Let's go gambling. Yeah, just be careful. Well, what am I supposed to say? Meg, I'll be honest with you, like, I don't know shit about shit when it comes to addiction. You know stories, whatever. It's like people get on one and they get to the next, methadone, Suboxone, all that kind of shit. And I don't know, I think like once you break free of this, it just sounds like you're going to have to replace all of that attention that's, joy comes from like drugs and stuff with something else. It just has to be replaced by something else. And that might have to just be like maybe an obsession with like fitness, a healthy one. Maybe an obsession with like some sort of art. writing, maybe you could get really, really into writing and fitness. I don't know. I believe in you though. It's just gonna require that like sensation of like, fuck, let's get focused. Rage hiking, yeah, there you go. Get really into hiking and outdoor stuff. Connect with God and nature. Yeah, replacing a habit. That was actually kind of the good thing for me, and this is not the same at all, but just a thought was, I was not hardcore addicted to Overwatch, but I played it so much and it sucked, right? For 8 years. And then as soon as Marvel came onto the scene, Marvel Rivals, I started playing that. But it was one of those things where it's like I would play that and then I just never really would have the desire to go back to Overwatch. But the nice thing is that I was feeling that I was having difficulty having respect for or really looking at Marvel as like that great of a game. So now that I've like uninstalled it, I have no desire to go back and play Overwatch, and I really have no desire to play Marvel anymore. So maybe I'm free. Maybe Marvel was like my methadone, and now I'm free. You know what I love? I love turning people's issues into everything about me. If there's anybody has anything to say, just know that I will find a way to turn it into some self-centered concept about myself. So be ready. Can I please sing? Sure. There once was a man who could grab the world, but he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't even dream, he wouldn't poo it. But then he grabbed a piece of you. Ha-da-da-da, ha-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Alright. Same way with Counter-Strike 2. Nice, dude. I'm glad other people have understand. And it's just weird because it's like, I don't know. I don't know what it was. Going through menopause, any ideas on what I can do to be fertile again? Really? Fertile again? I thought once menopause... Well, I'm not going to sit here and act like... Let me ask ChatGPT. I'm going through Mega Claus. Is there any way for me to be fertile again? Hormone therapy and ovarian rejuvenation, limited success. Egg donation and IVF. If you are postmenopausal but still have a uterus, you may be able to conceive using donor eggs and in vitro fertilization. Hormonal treatments can prepare your uterus for implantation. Natural options, limited efficacy. Some anecdotal cases of women having periods return through intensive lifestyle changes, high-fat diets, stress reduction, and certain herbal supplements like maca root or black kahash. However, this does not guarantee ovulation or fertility restoration. And then you could also do surrogacy or adoption, I guess. There you go. Honestly, adoption, I mean, you could do, what's it called? Foster. You could get into foster care and, maybe, be a mom for somebody who needs it. Adoption is tricky, yeah, definitely. It's definitely much harder, I've heard, than foster care. Oh, make it about me. Okay, right. This reminds me of the time that I had blood in my stool. And the size of the shit that came out of me was kind of like a baby. It didn't, make any noises or anything like that, but I definitely felt a bit sad whenever I flushed it because I felt like it was kind of like a part of me. So I sort of know what you're going through, essentially. I make grilled cheeses at night. Yeah. That'd be such a funny way to like insult someone. Like, he looks like he makes grilled cheese at night. I'll be honest with you though, Shane Gillis and the show Love on the Spectrum has done like wonders in my mind for the relationship between like the general population and individuals with like severe autism and Down syndrome, because I feel like people were able to like connect so heavily with like that idea of like Uncle Danny, you know, right? But then if you've ever watched Love on the Spectrum, like all of the individuals in that show are like so lovable, so, you know, so enjoyable to watch that, I don't know, like there's just a certain sensation in the public where you're just like, I think it's opened up a certain avenue to like, for people to feel a lot more comfortable with those kinds of things, whereas I feel like in the past people were maybe not as comfortable. So if you haven't seen Love on the Spectrum, you should watch it. It's a great show. It was my burrito baby was a boy, yeah. You could tell by the corn. We talked it over, ultimately decided not to call the police. Oh. Wait, whoops. Oh, yeah. Okay. Can be every individual is different than the... Hence saying autism spectrum disorder. Yeah, I was just referring to like severe autism. Like the people on the show. Well, I guess not all of them were severe. There was a spectrum on that for sure. What's my go-to food? I mean, almost every night I have like these like jalapeno, and like cheeseburgers that I air fry. They're so fucking good. In the morning I'll have like eggs, and I love like mixed berries with like honey. How do you order your stories, like best to worst, or is it just random? I usually order them after like editing, and I kind of, yeah, it's a little bit like based on which one I think is the scariest, and I try to put that first, or like most interesting. And then if there's true crime in an episode, I tend to put that towards the end, just because, I don't know, you get so many comments where people are like, I don't like the ones that are in third person. I'm like, it's called fucking true crime, Dumbo. It's an active relationship with every single chatter. This is true. Everybody in here is being consciously or unconsciously dated. Any shows you recommend? I recently watched Haunting of Hill House on Netflix, and I wasn't sure what to expect, but it was actually good. It actually kept me pretty enthralled with both the horror elements, but also the mystery of all of it, and I really haven't felt that in a while for a show. I used to really like The Boys, but now, I don't know, season 4 kind of sucked, like massive dong, so. Peaky Blinders, I haven't, but I've heard very good things. I really probably should watch that. I have done stories about cryptids, got a lot of those videos. You look like make air-fried cheeseburgers in the middle of the night. Yeah, you definitely do. It's easy, dude. It's like, that's the nicest thing about an air fryer. It's like, why people, there's so many people that circle jerk because they can go to an oven and turn it, oh, I've preheated the oven to 400. Oh my God, look at me. And it's like, dude, air fryer is just like the convenience of a microwave, but like the quality and crispness of an oven. It's just like, why would you not use that marvel of technology? You have not dated since Clinton was in trouble for his BJ. Wait, I forget. Did Bill Clinton give a BJ or did he get a BJ? Have I seen Umbrella Academy? I have not. No, I've heard good things. What type of air fryer? I think it's like a Vortex or some shit. I don't even know. It's like a 6-quart. Yeah, it's a 6-quart. It's good stuff. I want my food crunchy, and I want it now. I mean, it is nice, you know, you don't have to sit there and like wait for a steak for, you know, you could sit there and grill it, but if some people broil it in the oven, or get your air fryer out, 400 for fucking 9 minutes. It tastes fucking amazing. Our truck drivers pick them up, then the paper is separated from and trash or full. Oh, I see. Our truck drivers pick them up, then the paper is separated from any trash or folders. There's also loading docks where anyone can bring stuff. And then it makes it to the shred floor, which is where I am. And these shredders are big and can shred up to 2 tons of paper a day. Now, I'm sorry for all the logistics, but it's kind of hard to tell the story without explaining how it all works. Now, I'll also say that, fortunately, no, this isn't a story about some horrific shredding accident, but I digress. And as you can imagine, documents that we destroy are considered sensitive or classified, even if it's someone's junk mail. Bank statements, medical records, school papers, court records, or pretty much anything you can think of. 90% of the stuff that I see on the daily is just boring and isn't worth looking at for more than it takes the time to throw it into the shredder. But there's some interesting stuff too. Over the course of my 4 months that I've worked there, I've seen social security cards dating back to the 30s or 40s, report cards from the 50s, rosary beads, religious pamphlets from the 40s, which you can guess are very sexist, condoms, thankfully unused, a family photo album from the 70s full of photos of a trip to Disneyland, and even cash, the largest sum I know being $11,000 a family unknowingly dumped after their mother passed away. And with an amount that high, we found this family and turned them. You're right. You're actually right. I have absolutely read this one. Damn, dude. This one was I don't know how I stumbled on this one again when doing the Reddit stuff. But you're 100% right. Especially, that's the part that I remembered, was the fact that the large sum of money was turned back to the family. Damn. Jolerson. Jolsy Polsy, you've read this one already. Thank you. Alright. Shit, dude. That was gonna be a gold tier story, but I'm eating chicken noodle soup and my GERD is acting up again. Maybe you could dilute with some water, maybe? Or at least incorporate some apple cider vinegar before you eat or something. What's those acid pills? Did you ever see those before? What is the acid pills you can take that make your stomach more acidic to break down food? No, not Prilosec. That's an antacid. Betaine hydrochloride supplements. How it works. It increases gastric acidity, helping to break down food, especially proteins. Aids in nutrition absorption, particularly B12, iron, calcium, and zinc. Can prevent bloating, indigestion, and acid reflux caused by low stomach acid. Helps kill harmful bacteria in food as they enter the intestines. How to take HCl, usually taken with a protein-rich meal. Start with 1 capsule, typically 500 to 650 milligrams, and assess tolerance. If you feel no warmth or discomfort, gradually increase by 1 capsule per meal. If you feel a burning sensation, you've taken too much, reduce the dose next time. Some people combine it with pepsin for better protein digestion. Why you should not take beta. Okay, if you have gastritis, ulcers, or GERD. Oh, shit. Okay, I apologize for saying it then. It can worsen symptoms of taking NSAIDs or corticosteroids. It can irritate the stomach lining if you have H. pylori infection. But the weird thing with GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease, is that it tends to be like idiopathic, which means that you don't know the origins as its cause. So I'm like, sometimes wonder if people get diagnosed with GERD but actually just like have acid reflux, or no? Is it just like really bad acid reflux? In which case, it's, betaine hydrochloride's supposed to assist with that. But Babes Mariba, thank you for the 5 gifters too. Michelle Henry, Shorty Meg, Emily Danielson, Christine Baker, and So Long Dental Plan. Thank you, babes. Thank you so much. You guys now have access to bonus content. Your body makes too much acid, hence GERD, which is a chronic acid reflux. Oh, okay. Do you think maybe if you like diluted it heavily, like drank a solid amount of maybe like 10 ounces of water before eating, it would like dilute the acid's acidity or something? Andrea Strong, thank you for the 11 months. Says, hey, I've heard all your stories. No life, hell yeah, dude. You've listened to every video ever, or just the podcast side? Time for magnesium, is it? Are you taking yours? Okay, shit. We gotta find another story to replace that one. That's so sad. I'm not even sure right now. Water makes it worse. It just forces up the esophagus. Oh, shit. What causes H. pylori? Yeah. What causes H. pylori? Read Jeff the Killer. I actually did that on the channel years ago as well. I got a whole playlist called Creepypasta that's got the old school stuff on there. Contaminated food or water, person-to-person contact, poor hygiene, close living conditions, animal exposure. Okay. Symptoms: burning stomach acid, bloating, nausea, loss of appetite, frequent burping, unexplained weight loss, black or bloody stools if ulcers form and bleed. How to get rid of H. pylori: triple or quadruple therapy, a combination of 2 antibiotics, a proton pump inhibitor, sometimes bismuth, Pepto-Bismol. Natural remedies: mastic gum, broccoli sprouts, contains sulforaphane, which may reduce H. pylori. Manuka honey has antibacterial properties. Interesting. Probiotics can help restore gut bacteria balance. Oh, I wonder if... And what's the mastic gum do? Can help suppress H. pylori growth. Interesting. Wonder about does raw milk help? Because I heard that's good for your digestive system. Raw milk is sometimes claimed to help H. pylori infections due to its natural probiotics and immune-boosting properties, but it also has a potential source of infection if contaminated. Right, so you want to know where you're going to source it from. Probiotics and lactoferrin. Right, yeah, it's got lactoferrin, a protein in milk, has antimicrobial properties, may help inhibit H. pylori. Interesting. Crazy, crazy shit. The world is fantastic. Yeah, click that like button, guys. It's always much appreciated. Alright, well, we're going to skip that last story, I guess. If you... lactose intolerant. Yeah, apparently there's... let me ask it real quick. Does raw milk have the... what are you... enzyme to break down lactose in it, question mark? Because that was the big difference between pasteurized milk and raw milk, was like the enzyme lactase, yeah, which helps break down lactose. The presence of lactase along with beneficial lactic acid bacteria such as lactobacillus can make it easier for some lactose intolerant individuals to digest raw milk compared to pasteurized milk. I thought that was interesting. It's like, what the fuck? As they pasteurize it, they're like taking out all the fucking good shit. But obviously it's like sanitation, I guess. But sometimes I feel like we over-process fucking everything. Okay. Apple cider vinegar and fresh lemon juice in the AM really helps your GERD. Okay. Yeah, that's why sometimes, like I said, with GERD, it's just like the diagnosis for it sometimes tends to be so open-ended that, its actual cause is difficult to decipher, and you kind of have to experiment with your own body. Am I going to stream this weekend? I think I'll stream Sunday, but depending on what anybody's, because sometimes I socialize here and there, and Saturdays can get kinda milky. Cooked milk. This happened several years ago. While it may not be as scary as some of the stories here, it was definitely one of the most terrifying and bizarre encounters I've ever had. Oh wait, did I bring this one up twice? No, dude. I'm so dumb. I'm so derm. Whoops. My milkshake. My husband had remained close to his childhood friend, who I'll call John, well into adulthood. They had met in elementary school and became inseparable ever since. When I was dating my husband and met John, I thought he was such a nice guy. He had a very docile nature and a wholesome character. Everyone felt comfortable around him. John was the type of person that could get along with anyone. He was trustworthy, dependable, and genuinely kind. I was happy that my husband was able to keep such a good friend in this day and age when true friendships are so hard to find. Both me and my husband are estranged from our families, so we were lucky to have someone like John in our lives, and we considered him like family. John was a nerd, like us, so we had many of the same interests. We would meet up every once in a while to grab something to eat, catch a movie, or just hang out at the house playing retro board games and discussing technology. We all three had a love of computers, so my husband and John often shared with each other small programs that they could write. My husband and I built computers for a time, and John would come by to give his opinion and advise us on our projects. I suppose the only curious thing about John at that point was that he never really had a girlfriend. In all the years we knew him, he had always been single. He never even dated. I didn't understand why such a nice guy hadn't found someone yet. Our lives seemed to evolve and change, but John just sort of stayed where he had always been, living with his family, and never became involved with anyone romantically. And for a while there, we started thinking that maybe he was gay and was simply scared to reveal it, since he had a pretty traditional family who he was very close to. And though we wondered amongst ourselves, we never brought it up to him, as it seemed kind of inappropriate. It would be like we were invading his privacy or meddling in his life, and we figured that he would eventually find someone when he was ready. John suddenly moved away to a city that was 3 hours away. When he told us, we thought at first that he had decided to finally move on his own, but we were wrong. He had actually moved into a home that his older sister had bought for her retirement. Since she wasn't ready to retire just yet, she was letting him stay there for the time being, and that's when things began to change. John sort of fell off the map. He wouldn't call, he wouldn't visit, nor ask to come visit. He wouldn't call. Just chundied? What's a chundy? Oh, how did I get a membership? Did someone buy me one? Yeah, I think Babes Mariba got you one. You can thank her. Oh, man, baby. He wouldn't call. He wouldn't visit nor ask us to come visit him. My husband and I figured it was because of the distance. Also, he was probably settling into his new place and getting accustomed to a new city. But time continued passing, and I could tell my husband was really missing his friend. And I had to admit that I was too. We had such good times together, and it was so unlike John to disconnect like that. It was so difficult to get in contact with him on the phone, and he wasn't very active on his social media either. And I started to worry about him. I also didn't want my husband to continue distancing himself from his best friend as it could become permanent, and so I made it my mission to reignite our friendship. I called John and arranged for us to go visit him. Surprisingly, he didn't seem to even acknowledge the fact that it had been about 2 years since we had last seen each other. When we arrived at his place, I was taken a little aback, as I hadn't been expecting what I saw. The house was in a pretty secluded neighborhood in the middle of nowhere, actually, and I didn't know how he could get used to it here, going from a big city and all. And also, I hate to say this, but the house seemed dirty and messy, and John told us that he had transformed his job to this new city, even though they offered him a promotion. He had declined it, and he didn't want to work the extra hours. I looked around and thought that this made sense, since it seemed like John didn't like leaving the house very much, and I chuckled to myself as I thought the house looked more like a bunker than a home. To my dismay, I saw that John had his own room, as if he was still a teenager. In fact, it was decorated as if that is exactly what he still was. It was a mess in there. Computers and computer equipment on the floor, wires everywhere, clothes thrown about all over the place, and John said his sister came to stay every other weekend, so she had the main bedroom for us. And John said his sister came to stay every other weekend, so she had the main bedroom for herself. He expressed how he hated for his privacy to be interrupted when she stayed over, but what could he do? And I thought to myself that he could just get his own place, but I didn't say it out loud. We all decided to go to dinner and browse some of the stores in the area, and I couldn't help myself any longer and asked John why we had lost contact. It had become so difficult to get a hold of him lately, and he kind of just shrugged it off and said that he had been so busy with the move that he must have lost track of time. He didn't ever want to lose contact like that with us again, and he appeared genuine, but something felt off to me. His answers were too short and generic, as if there had been some sort of script or he had practiced somehow. My husband told him that he thought that he would have had his own place by now since he moved all the way out here, and John said that it was just financially easier this way. Again, another short and very generic reply. I asked him if he was seeing anyone, and he said that he wasn't in a position to really do that right now, as he really wanted to get his finances in order first. I thought that every reply he gave made sense and was perfectly reasonable, but I also knew that he was lying. Rather, he was hiding. I just didn't know what it was. It was just this nagging feeling that I couldn't shake off, and John just didn't seem like the person that we had known once. My husband and I drove home, kind of confused but glad that we had spent some time with our old friend, and it had been a long time coming. John certainly answered all of the questions that we had been curious about, and we believe that now that... God. It's like every paragraph is like... There's so many, like it's like a wall of text, but like in separate paragraphs. I mean, they quite literally are just paragraphs, but for some reason my brain is like having trouble deciphering all of it. Favorite show right now? I don't know, honestly. I like A Haunting of Hill House. It was one that I had watched most recently, but if I were to go back and like ever want to watch it again, probably not. It actually left me with like more questions than answers in many ways. Why is my voice so soothing? It's because I have special magical abilities given to me by the stars above. I need to watch Haunting of Bly Manor. Yeah, I guess that's the natural progression then, huh? This bitch is so nosy. That's funny. Yeah. I guess if you've known someone for so long or whatever, you know, and we're actually close to them, it would... I guess the whole thing would beg quite a few questions. A third member of Team Rocket, yeah. They know me as Meowth. That's right. Meowth. That's right. Jesse. James. Wait, Jesse. No, how's the girl voice go? Jesse. Jesse. Sound more like James. James. Meowth. Meowth. That's right, motherfucker. He just slices someone's throat with his claws. You should watch Fall of the House of Asher. What's that about? You like Bly Manor a little better. Interesting. Snagglepuss. Yeah, every voice is just Snagglepuss. Can't do any other voice. What is the score you use for the ending of the stories? The score that I use. Oh, you mean like this in-between sound? It was from like a stock thing. Heavens to Murgatroyd. Who the hell's Murgatroyd? Like, why does he say that? Read Baraka. Yeah, I think we did Baraka on a channel before. Baraska, yeah. I was part of that on Dark Somnium's channel a while back. I've done it all. I've done every creepypasta. We believe that now that we had resumed contact that we would see more of him, but that didn't happen. John continued to be distant. His social media continued to not be updated, but I did notice something strange. Since I have him as a friend, I could see whatever he did that was public. And I noticed that he was liking Nickelodeon programs and would sometimes make comments on their posts. The comments would just mention how good a show's last episode was, or how he couldn't wait to find out what happened next. And I found this kind of odd. His comments also seemed to have been written by someone much younger and not a man in his late 30s, who still watched kids' programs at that age. Oh well, I just chalked it up to John always having been sort of innocent, I guess. And besides, some adults still watch cartoons, right? And I suppose there isn't anything too weird then with an adult liking kids' sitcoms. And I didn't mention it to my husband. I'm not sure why. I just felt like I was, once again, a little nosy, invading John's privacy somehow. After all, it's not like I had purposely searched for this information. Besides, what would be the point of even mentioning it? It's just TV shows. And over the next couple of years, John visited us one time. Once again, I had to make a monumental effort to get him to meet with us, even though he traveled our way often to visit his mother. And I got this uncanny feeling that John was avoiding us. Again, as if he was hiding, but hiding what? My husband had pretty much accepted the fact that his friendship had somehow grown apart, and things would never be as they were before. No point of confronting this shit. Yes, you guys are all indoctrinated. Should you leave, you shall face dire consequences. We've grown apart, Peter. It's because we were conjoined twins. They had to separate us, or you would have eaten me. You were the parasitic twin. No point of continuing to force the situation, and I resigned myself to the fact that, god damn it, this is taking forever to get to the fucking point. No point of continuing to force the situation, and I resigned myself to that fact as well. It happens. I figured it happened more commonly with childhood friends since people do tend to go in different directions in adulthood. Some more time passed and my husband mentioned John to me. He told me that he had wondered what he'd been up to and how it seemed like no matter how hard he tried, he kept losing contact with him. I could tell my husband was annoyed and couldn't call John because he was upset, and I decided to just give him a call myself. I hoped he still had his same number, and luckily he did, and John informed me that he had recently moved back in. Fuck, dude, holy shit. Talk about padding out the fucking story. John might be a serial killer. He better do something bad at the end, or this is just going to be the most worthless story. John informed me that he had recently moved back in with his mother. She needed him to be closer to her due to her ailing health, and I told him it was good he was back because we were planning on visiting my father so we could swing by and see him as well. And for the first time, John actually sounded strained and evasive. It didn't sound like himself at all. He told me that he really had been He told me that he really hadn't been expecting to move back, so he was having trouble getting settled in. And for this reason, he said that he would not be able to meet with us this soon. We would have to meet the following month. And that struck me as strange since his mother's house was the house he grew up in. He had his own bedroom there, so why would it be so difficult to settle in? I accepted his wishes, though, and told him that the following month we would plan on hanging out for sure. Nothing could have prepared me and my husband for what happened next, though. As the month we were... Jesus Christ.
Jesus fucking Christ. Jesus fucking Christ. Get to the point, bitch. Get to the point.
Okay. As the month we were supposed to meet approached, my husband called me to come downstairs and look at the TV. He then said to hurry, and I thought he was just being dramatic since he sometimes did so to get me to go see what he was watching, so I reluctantly went downstairs. I immediately noticed that he was white as a sheet. Now he had my attention, and I asked him what in the world was wrong now. He told me to look at this as he holds the remote in his hand, pointing it to the TV. And I sat down next to him, and he starts playing a news segment that was showing a courtroom. Suddenly, John is led in by a bailiff wearing an orange suit with his hands and feet shackled, and I literally did a double take as I couldn't believe that it was the same person. I thought my husband was joking and was playing a video showing John or a look-alike like John, but there was no denying it was truly him. His full name was right there on the screen. The newscaster said that yet another man, John, has just been arrested in connection with one of the largest child trafficking rings that has been dismantled in recent history. John was just one of the many individuals who had been caught when the police successfully obtained their information from a website on the dark web that had been shut down for featuring and spreading CSAM, or child exploitation material. The investigation had been going on for a few years. Both of our mouths were wide open as we stared at the TV in disbelief. My husband told me that he had been searching for a local TV show when he came across this. He told me he just couldn't believe it. He must have watched it over 20 times before he called me downstairs to see for myself, and I was speechless. Sometime later, when the initial shock subsided, my husband went online to search more information, and it appears that John's mother's home and his sister's home had both been raided, and they found hundreds of child exploitation content on his computer. John must have been collecting them since his youth. There also had been a DNA match. There wasn't much more information than that, and I was thankful for it as neither of us wanted to know what exactly that meant. John is going to be going to prison for the next 30+ years, and he'll be an old man by the time he makes it to his first parole hearing and would have to wear an ankle monitor for the remaining years if he was ever to actually be released. And we saw that his sister removed his name from the house that she had bought. She also removed all mention of him from her social media, and for his family to have disowned him, the details of what John did must be truly horrific, and it's obvious his family has no doubt of his guilt. I feel so sorry for his poor mother. She was such a sweet lady. She had already lost 2 sons, and now she lost a third. My husband and I removed John from our contact list and any trace of him from our social media as well. We severed all ties. We decided to not even contact his family, and we will not be visiting him in prison either, though we have so many unanswered questions. This event broke my husband somehow. He has become very paranoid and distrustful of other people, and he's refused to make any new friends. I can understand him, though. It's life-changing when you realize that you never truly know anyone, regardless of how close you are to them. Not really, anyway. The sweet, humble guy that had slept in our home and shared so many great times with us had all been an illusion. Hey, Adversary Games, how you doing? The sweet, humble guy that had slept in our home and shared so many great times with us had been an illusion, a very good magic trick. It's as if he hadn't ever existed, except in our own minds. Oops. It's as if he hadn't ever existed except in our own minds. John had been hiding something after all, and he had been hiding that he was really a monster. What's up, Devoid? I'm sorry, have I woken you? I'm actually late for waking up late. All right. I think, what time is it? 1? All right. I think I am going to take my magnesium, come back and read either 1 or 2 more stories. So I shall return momentarily. Hi, Mom. I'm back. I'm back. I miss Taco Bell. So yeah, I had to cook a little bit of meth. Has anyone had straight hair their whole life, then out of nowhere it started getting curly? What the fuck? You should be studied and dissected until we find out what the hell this phenomena is. SCP-1346. SCP-1346 was born with straight hair. Later in life, they had curly hair. SCP-1346 is it's a nice lady. Luke. Alright. That would be funny. I go up there and I just go to bed. Alright, I'm ready for bed. Just leave the stream on all night. I am curious how many people would still be in here in the morning. Alright. Yeah, Euclid. This is a Euclid. Isn't it crazy that like French fries can do that too? They can be straight and they just be like curly out of nowhere. Alright, dudes. Let's do this last story and get on out of here, huh? But there's a part of me that feels like I should record another one after this just because... so we can really extend the length of Reddit stories. I was a young guy in college driving back to campus from somewhere when I ran out of gas. It was getting dark, maybe 6 or 7 p.m. when I realized that the gas ran out. I turned off... fucking shit. I stayed and chilled in the stream. Well, I'm glad you hung around. We appreciate ya. And don't worry, the stream never gets bigger than 500 people. We can never anticipate... oh yeah. Has my Twitch... did anyone even show up over there? 4 people. Let's go, dude. What's up, 4 Twitch people? And I lost 4 followers, too. Hell yeah. Alright. What am I even looking at? Oh, yeah. I gotta figure out how to... fix this grammar. Don't change the story at all. Twitch is the redheaded stepchild. Yeah, sadly. They get my attention second. What the fuck is Twitch? It's just like a... it's like what made streaming popular, essentially. It's where like streaming sort of all began. At least in the mainstream. The mainstream. Twitch has a Twitch. It took too much Adderall. I was a young guy in college driving back to campus from somewhere when I ran out of gas. It was getting dark, maybe 6 or 7 p.m. when I realized the gas had run out. I turned off. Dude, what the fuck? I had it fix the grammar and it still doesn't make sense. It was getting dark, maybe 6 or 7 p.m. When I realized the gas had run out, I turned off the main street, and then with my car's remaining momentum, I glided until I stopped in front of some random house. I sat in the car, trying to think if there was anyone I knew with a car who had stayed on campus for winter break. No dice. So then I resigned myself to the fact that I needed to walk to the nearest station, fill up the little gas can from my trunk, and walk back. I grabbed the canister, and before I started walking, I leaned on the front of my car and looked up directions. And just then, a woman pulled into the driveway. She was also college age and wearing some sort of server's outfit, like she worked in fast food. I was parked right out front of her house when she noticed me. She approached, a little hesitant, and asked if I needed help. And I said honestly, yeah, I'd just run out of gas, and according to my phone, we were kind of a far walk from the Chevron. She looked at me like she had just seen a ghost, though. And at first I chalked it up to it getting late, me being a guy and her trying to gauge if I was actually screwing with her. But it really struck me how afraid she suddenly looked. I tried to assure her that I had the gas can and didn't need to go... I tried to assure her that I had the gas can and didn't need to go with her or anything, that I could actually pay for it. And she took the can but refused any money. I waited there for a while. She came back, handed me the canister, and then just stood there for a second, and I could tell that she was deciding whether or not to say something. Then she just straight up asked, "Do you want to hear something weird?" "Of course," I said. And she says, "Today at work, I got this prank call, but it was a weird prank call and all that. It was just the guy on the other line kept asking me over and over, 'Have you ever run out of gas?'" And after she told me, we both just kind of chuckled, not really knowing what to say except thanks and take care. And it genuinely gives me chills every time I think about it. Whoa, holy fwack. You're taking this serious. Too serious. Oh yeah, it was called Justin TV back in the day. I remember hearing that, what's his name, Destiny, was like one of the first streamers to like figure out how to normalize donations and all that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. This is the story about the dude whose car and house was trashed and his info leaked on the dark web? Nah, not this one. I do remember the one you're talking about, though. Oh, man. Alright, we gotta do one more. Just, fucking say we did it. That last one wasn't that good. Sorry, let me find it. I gotta bring up my stash of stories. More. Does anyone here have a government phone like myself? I have a Fox A55 that runs Android Go edition, and for whatever reason, Google Maps does not work when I try using it for GPS. Weird. Obama phone. What's this one? A man pretending to... After episodes, when already at the end of the gas station, adrenaline was slowly increased. At a point, I was approaching the gas station, a small silhouette that didn't move. My heart started. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy that like how much, I guess, scarier the r/let's not meet subreddit is than creepy encounters. Like creepy encounters is basically just stories that you just need to get on paper but aren't that creepy. Dessert, thank you so much. Welcome to the Buttersalt Cult. You now have access to bonus content. Thank you. How do you say your name? Dessert. Over. Dessert. Dessert time. Over. You're like talking to your kid in a treehouse. Call me when dessert's ready, Mom. Dessert. Over. Okay. Man lying in the middle of the road. Oh man, none of these are scary. Everybody's gonna think I'm the laughing stock of the creepy town. Alright, find friends that watch out for you. No. Damn it. Always ignored. How come? What's up, dude? What are you doing?
I'm sorry. I'm just distracted trying to find like one more story, one more actually scary story to read before we ship off to nighttime land. Alright, yeah, we'll just do this one. Man, try to get in my car. Always a classic. Always a classic. Read one about the thing, about the person doing the thing. Dude, no, man, that one's gonna get me canceled. I don't even care. You can cancel me if you want to. I don't even care. You can go ahead and try to cancel me all you want to. I don't even care. The guy did the thing. I'm just saying it like it is. I'm just calling it like it is. I don't even care. This happened about 10 years ago in an area between Seattle and Tacoma, Washington. My friend, we'll just call him R, and I used to regularly go to Tacoma to sing karaoke at a bar there. And to be honest, I don't think I've ever seen the city of Tacoma during the day. Now anyways, it's about 1 or 2 in the morning and we're heading back to Seattle and we have to stop for gas. He pulls over at this station and I'm buzzed and feeling good, so this creepy station doesn't even really register with me. As I'm sitting, messing with the radio, suddenly my door swings open. I only saw a flash of him because it was all blindingly quick, but he was kind of medium height, dark-skinned, like too much tanning that is, and had a blank stare and tattered clothing. I remember he had a black jacket too, like leather or something, but it was torn and holey. So here I am trying to pull the door closed, and I'm realizing this man is very strong, and he almost won the tug of war with me trying to slam the door closed, and if my adrenaline hadn't kicked in, I don't know. I do finally manage to get it closed after maybe only a few seconds and immediately start looking around for my friend, panicked and concerned and confused. R had already been yelling at the guy to get the F away from my car, and surprisingly, the man listens. R isn't the most intimidating looking guy or anything, but maybe the guy didn't want to cause a scene. I don't recall there being anyone else outside the station with us that night, but R was being very loud and forceful. So, I'm watching the man walk away and he's not looking back at us or making a sound that I can hear, which is what made this entire thing more unusual. I'll get back. Dude, where's my freaking car, dude? Hey, Drew, what's up, big dude? Big doggedy dude. R gets back in the car, and he's usually calm, but deadpan. Like when you see something terrible, but you're too scared to move. I look to see where he's looking, and he's looking at the creepy guy who's now facing us with that same emotionless stare, just watching us leave the pump and back towards the street. And my eyes are on him the entire time, too. We book it out of there, and that was the end of that. To this day, I don't stop at gas stations at night at all if I can help it, unless another car is there or it's on a busy street. And to the guy who tried to get in my friend's car that night, I hope you turned your life of crime. Yeah. We book it out of there. We book it out of there. And that was the end of that. And to this day, I don't stop at a gas station at night at all if I can help it, unless another car is there or it's on a busy street. Dunions. Oh wow, as soon as I bitched about the stream never going up, we get to 550. That's actually kind of pretty infrequent to get like to 550 on a stream. Yippee, we're growing. We're a growing community of freaks. Alright guys, well, that was, I think, 10 stories tonight. And now I'm going to read my outro. What do you say? We manifested it. We did it. Thank the ambiguous science, math, astronomy gods. We done it. Explain butter sock before you buy the shirt. It's basically just like a sock filled with cum. I don't know. Something like that. I forget. One of the weirdos in the chat made it up and we've just been going along with it. Just kidding. It's actually like super spiritual and like super like transcendental and like super like appropriate for work and stuff. Mike Beano, welcome back for 28 months. Says, I managed an Applebee's in Pennsylvania, closed shop, refried up the grill, and made a ton of food. Laid back at the biggest booth and listened all night. Dude, Mike, that sounds like absolute heaven. I'm proud of you, honestly. That's fucking awesome. That's perfect. I'm jealous. What kind of fried food did you have? I see you're an Eagles fan. Are you excited for the Super Bowl? Joel is God's yoinky a splinker. This is true. They found me spelunking deep under the earth's crust. Wonton tacos and wings. Oh fuck, dude. Dude, Mike, how good is Saquon? I just hope they destroy the Chiefs, man. Secretly Amish. Lol. Okay, you guys gotta think of something funny for me to say. I'm gonna read the outro. Please think of it. Hey friends, thanks for listening. Click that notification bell to be alerted of all future narrations. I release new videos every Monday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and there are super fun live streams on Sundays and Wednesday nights. If you got a story, be sure to submit them over email at letsreadsubmissions@gmail.com, and you might even hear your story featured on the next video. And if you want to support me even more, grab early access to all future narrations and bonus content over on Patreon, or click that big join button to hear about the extra perks for members of the channel. And check out the Let's Read podcast, where you can hear all of these stories and big compilations located anywhere you listen to podcasts. All links in the description below. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, end space racism. Astrology. Zoink your doinks. Don't forget to clip your toenails. Slurp noodles. Hey Joe, I hope you get this, man. Hit me back, just chat. Truly yours, your biggest fan. This is Stan. You hear that? You dare me to drive? I should have learned like all the lyrics to Stan. I remember that song was the absolute tits back in the day. Hey Joe, I want to practice writing. Where can I hit you up to get future topics? What do you mean, future topics? Honestly, when it comes to writing, you just want to do it over and over and over and over. Just every day, write something, read something, write something. Dear Stan, you could write a letter to Slim Shady. Chips and salsa. You like dildos part? Wait. Oh, I was like, wait. Fry's just coming out and saying it. He's a fan of dildos. But he's talking about, please don't call me nothing. And here comes Eminem. Hey Stan, man, how do I shoot at him? I go when it's a Sam. I'm a fucking man. I'm angry. I'm always mad. I'm always pissed off. I'm always yelling. I'm never in a good mood. Even though I'm a fucking millionaire, nothing's ever good. Don't forget about my daughter Haley. She's fucking 200 years old by this point, but she's like, I still gotta talk about her. That's the only thing I know to rap about. It's like someone gave the advice to Eminem to rap about big tits and big TVs. It's good advice. It's good. My advice to all future rappers, do exactly that. Big tits, Big TVs. Boom. You're Joe Budden too. You're the president of rap. You got ignored. What do you mean? What'd you get ignored for? Guys, you can't threaten to take your own life every time I don't read your comment. I'm just kidding. Hey, Audrey with the 14 months, the big 14. Miss you lots, Joel. Life's gotten busy. No worries, no worries. I'm glad you're here. Hope you're doing well. Stop the M slander. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I will be beaten within an inch of my life for this. Big cars, big shoes, big chains. Everything real big. All right. What's the lyric? Just drank a fit. Oh, yeah. There it is. Just drank the fifth of vodka. Dare me to drive? We'll do that one. Thanks so much, friends. And remember, just drank a fifth of vodka. Dare me to drive? There's my tribute to the rap god. The god of all rap. My god. Alright, love you guys. Appreciate you guys rock. If you got gifted a membership tonight, please go check out the bonus content in the bonus content playlist. Otherwise, I'm going to get this audio edited up tomorrow. On Patreon, it's only $1 a month for early access over there. And then YouTube video will be up same time, same place every Monday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. You want to buy a Pradeep plush? Honestly, maybe that's just the plush that I should do instead of like the astronaut, just like straight up Pradeep. Because like who wouldn't love a black cat plushie? You don't need the avatar, just do the cat. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, astronaut Pradeep too, that'd be good. Alright guys, appreciate you, love you. What day is it? Is today Sunday or is it... Okay, it's Thursday. I'm a few days off there, but yeah, I'll be back probably streaming this weekend. Most guaranteed Sunday, but potentially the Saturday, maybe for some games. And yeah, follow me on Instagram at letsread.official to be kept up to date when I go live. Otherwise, hit that notification bell. It always helps. Alright, bye guys. Appreciate you. We'll catch you on the flippy floppy. Be well and treat each other well, but don't let people take advantage of you, okay? I've had enough of that. I can't stop finishing my sentence with, okay. What are you going to talk about? Your toys?